No, it's
Oh,
not.
no, there's going to be, because we have to recap the few minutes that was missed.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
so is the recording going now?
Yes, it's going.
Robert.
For the record, anything's a dildo if you try hard enough.
No, if you're brave enough.
Or
If you're
that.
brave enough.
That's an Erica quote, and it goes right alongside the last notable one, which is, I will guard all the whales in the forest. Dad.
Yay.
Yay, quote books.
Did that ever make it online last time?
No, I haven't pulled it off of my phone yet.
The quality, though, on the recording is
It's actually
beautiful.
pretty good.
Swish.
So,
All right.
As soon as that goes online, I can throw a huge influx of
So,
traffic at it.
After
Yes.
setting both of these items on the counter, Ellen looks to both of you and asks, are you familiar with either of these?
no, what are they?
Hang on, I need to roll a
Yes,
percentile.
because after the last time...
Cinder clearly spoke before Elysis, though.
Excuse me.
Not entirely sure, but if that's anything like this, Elisa says, holding up her blue one, it's pretty cool, and I want it. I don't know what it does, but I like it.
Well, to answer Sin's question then, and to satisfy your curiosity, the stone's rather hard to get a hold of. However, it is capable of a good deal of regeneration should you get hurt. I will cover the actual specific details on that one in a minute for player knowledge. Now, as for the other, you may notice this is a bit of an odd-looking rod.
Yes.
This one, perhaps less hard to find. However, I have a feeling it may be useful in your travels.
Mm-hmm.
It is a rod of absorption. Have either of you run into it before?
No, it's the first time I've heard of it.
Is it a dildo?
As we just discussed, Robert, if you're brave enough, anything
Anything's a
can be.
dildo.
Well, this one's a double dildo, even.
We have
Which
to have
requires
two brave people.
Yeah. Or one brave person who's also really sadistic.
True. That would be appropriate too.
Ouch.
Ah,
So, for the purposes of keeping this straightforward so that both of you can decide what you're looking for, and she would be putting us in appropriate terms anyway. So, for the stone, regeneration, legendary quality, you regain 15 hit points at the end of each hour this pearly item is orbiting your head, provided you have at least one hit point remaining. So while you're alive, this will regenerate you. As for the Rod of Absorption,
I don't really need that.
9 charges initially. While holding this rod, you can use a reaction to absorb a spell that is targeting only you and not with an area of effect. The absorbed spell's effect is cancelled, and the energy, not the spell itself, is stored in the rod. The rod can store up to 50 charges. There's a whole bit here on attuning, which I'm going to hand the book to you because this is pretty dense. However, in terms of what you can generate from these charges, you can create spell slots only at a level equal to or lower than your own spell slots, up to a maximum of 5th level. So this rod basically allows you to churn out 5th level spells as long as it's charged.
Well,
lower.
as long as I have access to 5th level.
Right, you can use the stored levels in place of your slots, but otherwise you would be casting the spell as normal. So you can use 3 levels stored in the rod as a 3rd level spell.
Cool.
Now, of note, a rod that no longer, here it is, a rod that can no longer absorb spell energy and has no energy remaining becomes non-magical. So as long as you don't somehow overcharge it, because I believe that just hits as normal, if I remember right.
I'll pull the
Oh.
rest of the information later.
Well, I've got it open to the page right now if you're curious.
I can pull it
Yeah,
later.
but we're not doing
Yeah.
combat, so it's
No,
really less than...
Which I know I'll need this for a few things anyway.
I love how
but-
Elysis is just building an iron stone collection. I think that's a
Well-
new long-term goal.
You haven't settled yet which of you is taking which. She's only set them on the counter.
Cinder looks at the rod and goes, I think I do want that. Would you by chance have a bag of holding, by the way?
I don't believe I have one in stock currently, but should you find my doors again, I may actually have one for you.
Alright.
Or perhaps something else you may need on your travels.
Alright.
Like another dildo. Bag folding's a dildo if you're brave enough.
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
So I take it to that end you're taking a legendary regeneration stone?
I'll take the rod of absorption.
Yep, I have a new long-term goal.
So do we
Stone
owe you
collection.
for these?
How did I put it last time, Alice?
Something along the lines of you give us what you think we need.
Correct. So to that end, please, take these with my compliments.
Okay. Cinder's a bit skeptical.
Meanwhile, Ellis is just tossing the stone up in the air to watch it float around her head for a little bit before she takes it out of the air and puts it in her satchel with the other one.
Even though it doesn't do anything if it's not in the air.
No, but this is a city with a lot of thieves.
Not a lot. There's
But
just
enough.
thieves.
So to that end,
And she knows what they do, so she can get them out if she needs them.
So to that end, I'm assuming you step out and continue. Okay.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know what the other one does.
Yes,
This
she
is
does.
not
She
in
felt
front of
heightened awareness when she had it floating around her head.
Which,
She has a rough idea of what it
as
does.
Sarah may state later, we had already discussed in regards to that stone. So, okay. So, as for the rest of your trip, maybe 3-4 storefronts away, you do find a store that is advertising a 50% off sale.
Alice just walks in and goes, "Oh, does she? She's tempted, but
If you're not sure,
Alice,
roll for it.
moderate
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
yourself.
You know that's not gonna happen.
No, it
I know.
really
That's
isn't.
why I said it that way.
Impulse control has gone out the window for this character.
okay."
It's not
No,
gone
it's
out the
never.
window,
It's
it never
never been a
existed.
thing. It's a part of her flaw.
Never
I'm
been a
I'm
thing.
playing her flaw correctly. So she walks in and goes, the lady in the weird moving store told me you had a sale going on."
And they call the local asylum.
Traveling merchant. That's all.
Okay. And
She's
yes,
not
certainly.
from around here. She doesn't know what traveling
What are you
merchants
looking
called.
for?
Heavy crossbow.
You happen to be in luck. That's actually part of our ongoing promotion.
Promotion, do tell.
Anything that you see marked by a little dab of red is currently half off of its normal price.
Okay,
We just
what about
started
for
that
what
only
about
an
for
hour
local
ago.
heroes?
What?
Local
What about for
heroes.
local heroes?
We haven't gone through the ceremony yet,
No, but-
Ellis.
No,
You know what? Hold on.
But we're
Have
They
Text
won't know
travel
who
pretty
you are
quickly.
if you're not at the ceremony, Ellis.
The nobles haven't started blabbing yet.
rude.
Again,
Rude.
the populace won't know who you are unless you go to the ceremony, Ellis.
I'm gonna be there, but I'm not going on stage. I'm not some toy
Then
for
nobody
nobility.
will know who you are. You can't use that to your advantage.
The shopkeep's just looking back and forth and just kind of
I mean,
backing away a little bit.
You stay there.
You say that, but it's not like I don't have a way of getting what I
Intimidate
want.
check, dear.
She wasn't trying to intimidate him, but
You
fine.
did just say
You just said
don't
stay
go
there.
You
anywhere.
stay there.
23.
And let's see what our poor hapless shop clerk does.
He's shit
He's
himself.
potentially wet himself. You're not 100% certain. He just looks like, oh, I'm moving."
And Ellis just goes, besides, I'll have my crest, I'll have identification. It's just I don't want to be some sort of prop for their
He
amusement
doesn't
when
need
I'm
your
not choosing to
identification.
be.
I don't
It's
really
it's
think
different
it's
when
for
I elect to
their
perform.
amusement. I will admit, it's odd that they worded it the way they did. Usually, it's more just a general invite. Somebody didn't have a discussion with me before he started this.
Alice just sort of tilts her head to the side and goes, and you say I'm crazy sometimes.
She was clearly talking about what's his face, who's her name's
Looking at my
brother.
husband from across the table.
No, it'd be Lord
Well,
Never
excuse
Ember.
me, I kind of had to throw certain
Lord Protector, Never Ember. He is not always the best Lord. But it would just be best if you just get on the stage. Think of it as also this. Put on a little show. Use it to your advantage.
Tempting.
Spread your name far and wide with your tricks.
Alice's menagerie.
But the problem is it's not really a performance, and despite everything, you and Ash, I've heard you both say you don't care for the political games. What is this if not a game the politicians are having us play to be some part in their show?
I don't really know what's going on, to be honest. And I don't really care too much. But you can use this to your advantage. As someone who's played these games for years, Ellis, just do it. You can use it to your advantage in the future. I promise you. It's easier to have a name and a face together for the common folk than it is for them to just have a name.
That may be.
Do it for the common folk.
I've been in enough cities, and I've performed for enough nobles over the years to know that private events very seldom.
This isn't private.
Yes, but it's an official invitation. The people won't be close enough to the stage to get a good glimpse at any of us. It'll be nobles crowding the stage to thank us for what we did. And you know I'm
I have an idea. It's not for 15 days. We can hijack the ceremony to our own advantages.
This sounds like it would play right to her.
I'm listening. I still don't like the idea, but I'm listening.
I say we go along with their little game, but we rig certain elements to go on a parade of sorts through the town so the common folk can actually be close enough to see our faces.
Let me be clear.
And spread good cheer.
If a noble tries to make a prop out of me, I will shoot them in the foot with a bolt.
Fair enough.
I have no patience for most nobility.
Fair enough. I can understand plenty of reasons why.
Yeah, I have no patience and no love for nobility, and I'm still stuck on the required.
Again, I don't like it either, but it can be used to our advantage, and we can have some fun with it.
Am I allowed to hunt down any nobles that don't attend the next day?
Don't kill them. And, well, no, I think Liliana will be there, so I don't really care. Who?
Liliana Vess is gonna be there?
No! Liliana Tannenbay, one of the twins' friends.
I'm just saying it is the right universe. Liliana Vess could be around.
Or
She has a planeswalker.
Yeah,
Kindon
would she
Drandir.
be Black suit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple
those two should be safe. But I think they'll be there anyway.
Just saying, either one of them makes a move towards me I don't like. I don't exactly have the best control of my impulses.
And if a Caspian doesn't show up, feel free to kill him.
Sounds good.
Okay.
What are the odds he doesn't show up? Because the way you say that makes it sound like he's got something against you and your sister.
Yes, he does.
Is he a prince, perchance?
No.
Damn it.
Is there any chance
You're
I'd
not
get
there,
in
but
trouble
that's
with the
what I'm saying.
Lord's
Yeah,
Alliance
yeah.
and or the politicians in Neverwinter if I killed him?
Yes, so make him piss himself instead.
So, aim for the family jewels is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
I can do that.
I like this plan.
And now she's gonna try to scheme a way to keep him away from the ceremony entirely.
Considering you mentioned getting elements in order, I would assume that this should probably eat up the rest of the time leading up to
Probably,
the event
yeah.
for your two characters.
To rig up the stage and whatnot to become a parade float, essentially.
Well, I had planned on having them on a high stage,
Right.
Well,
So.
now it's a parade float. Congratulations. What
Actually,
are your plans?
Ellis has a plan for how to do that.
Okay.
She could use actually she's got a plan for how to make this truly spectacular.
Cool.
boy.
Well, let's
Let's get everything else sorted.
get
then we'll get to that
Oscar
because it'll be
situated
relevant.
and Ka situated before we talk about this.
So now, Reed, in your character's case, you said he was just wandering down, so he's kind of going about, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So in this case, you run across a destroyed residential district. Incongruously, you find what appears to be a storefront with an open sign on it.
Well, this is curious. A store in the middle of all these rooms. I think I'll go in and see what's this all about.
Okay. So, as you have seen prior, this is a room covered entirely in blue velvet.
He hasn't been in here before.
Well, for his purposes of knowing what the room looks like as the player, so I don't have to constantly repeat
Yeah.
myself. And behind the counter stands Ellen.
DeGeneres.
Ellen, be generous.
Hello, Oscar.
You should have just called her Margaret. It would make
Oscar
it easier.
kind of stiffens and then becomes very wary. How do you know my name?
Well, as I've seen Elysis and Cinder earlier, and as I have told them, I keep tabs on those that are looking for things.
I see. This is a shop then.
Yes. Keep in mind, from your perspective, all you see is what looks like a featureless room covered in blue velvet with the one counter and her behind it.
So it was kind of a question as well as this is a shop then.
I'd say yes, however, more with the intent of making sure those that are looking for something find what they may need.
What's a shop? We're a
I
charity,
see.
really.
Well,
Yeah.
I see no merchandise. So I really can't look around and see what I'm looking at. What I was wandering the town for was looking for perhaps an upgrade to my heavy crossbow. I have a regular heavy crossbow now, but I've had some good luck in getting magical weapons, and I was hoping
Some
maybe
good luck.
Some good luck.
I would be able
Understatement of the
to.
century.
I'd be able to become lucky with my heavy crossbow as well.
I'm afraid I don't have one
Do you
better
say
than what you're
weapons or
carrying.
items?
However,
Whatever.
I believe I have something for you and a bit of advice for later. And at this, much like described before, she opens a door that you...
Erica, do you have any note paper on you?
Difficult times.
I know she has like small little strips for it, or she did.
Oh, you need
And when she
Post-it?
returns...
No, just like yay-ish note strips.
No,
Okay.
I
Darn.
don't have
She
those. with
places
me.
a belt that looks a little like it's going to be the dark gray one here at the
Oh,
top.
good. Belt of giant strength.
Yep.
On the counter and says, "Well, I can't help you with the heavy crossbow. Unless I'm horribly mistaken, in a few months' time you should have access to a forge, if I recall, that should allow you to do some upgrades to your equipment."
We should have a forge. Again, you seem to know a lot.
As I said, I try and keep track of all those. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, as for the belt, are you familiar with belts of giant strength?
I am not, ma'am.
Well, quite simply, as you would imagine, once you wear the belt, its effects take hold and grants you the strength of a particular type of giant.
Oh my god, he's gonna be a murder machine.
In this belt's case, it was created...
It's like barbarian.
Shut up, you're getting an interesting rod later, dear.
And he doesn't mean in the game,
Okay.
as it turns out.
You're getting an interesting rod later.
That's right, when we get...
I like that he thinks it's interesting. Like,
It's a new
That's
twist on an old
that's
rod.
awfully self-important of you to think your rod is interesting. I
A
mean,
new
come on.
twist on an old rod.
I
Okay.
mean, I've ridden that one often enough.
Why
It's
the
going on
hell did I
YouTube.
decide to DM this shit?
Because you felt like being punished for weeks on
Apparently.
end.
They should have the fucking Velvet Room just vanish at this point.
With Oscar in it.
Why
Yes.
would you punish him for your
Us.
misspeak? Frankly.
And that too. You said it, not us.
Oh, I know.
So this belt.
Getting back on.
Oh,
track.
you meant those pieces of paper. God damn it!
I said small sheets of paper. What part of that was unclear?
The small sheet of paper part.
So, Reed, for
The
your
blonde that
knowledge,
lives inside me was controlling the brain.
the Fire Giant belt counts as very rare and increases your strength score to 25.
Holy hell!
Hey, I could have given him a
What
Storm
is
Giant
that? Modifier. What is that? Like a plus
It's a
it's-
6.
6?
No,
25?
it's,
No,
it's, a
it's
7.
a 7.
It's got to be a 7.
It's
yeah.
a 7.
Strength is equal to 25.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which makes your modifier a +7.
As opposed to a
Right,
plus
'cause
five.
Her
But
charisma
those belts
is
require
24.
attunement, don't they?
If I remember right, actually,
Wait, what?
Whoa, wait, what? We have a 24.
Unless I'm missing
24
it, Sarah.
gives us a plus 7.
Yeah.
Yes, but it
And
goes
the
up on the
next
even
one
numbers.
isn't until 26.
Unless I'm misreading it,
What?
it doesn't actually say
So he's on
attunement.
25.
Yes,
Yes,
it does.
it's
It's
a
right
25.
next to
Sorry.
wondrous item.
And this is why I handed it to you to make sure I actually fucking can.
So it does require attunement.
You can only have 3 items attuned at a time.
And one of them is your ring of resistance. So I don't remember if you have any other attunement items.
no,
So-
those are the only ones he has, as far as I can remember.
So strength then after this is attuned.
So as
is,
long as
It
you're wearing
becomes
this belt-
25.
Yeah, the score becomes
Right, so
25.
if this belt ever got destroyed, removed from you, your score would go back
It
to
would
where it was
revert to
originally.
what it originally was.
Or
My
if you
rod
want
of
to
absorption, that was an attunement, right?
Yes.
If I remember correctly, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Pact Keeper?
Also
Yes.
attunement.
We never figured out whether or not. Okay, we'll come back to that later.
Right, with the two different rods.
Yes.
You're right, we hadn't settled that
We hadn't
Holy
settled that one. We'll come back to that when we need to.
Well, you could totally wield two
So if
rods.
this
way I would do
becomes
it-
a 7, what's
No,
this?
Okay,
Okay, so if that
Two
becomes
of
a
the same
if that
one
becomes a
without
7
it
plus your
costing an
proficiency
attunement
bonus makes
slot?
it a 10
Oh,
plus
no,
1 makes it 11.
It's a different item though, so you'd
Because
think
it's-
it would take
in this case,
But that's
it's a
what
different
we
version
haven't
of the
decided
one
on.
rod.
right.
because it's a better version.
This
But it's
becomes,
a really useful
10?
rod for Cinder to have because
Right.
warlocks are garbage.
No,
At least this
that-
warlock is
Just the
garbage.
strength.
So I figure after session's over, we'll figure out the rod part.
Yeah, we'll figure
for the
that
sake
out
of
later.
keeping this moving along.
So I can't see these little.
What are you looking for?
Anything modified by strength, I
What
believe.
what's my?
Oh, there really isn't
It's just athletics.
It's
Athletics,
just athletics.
that's
That's it.
Athletics is the only one.
And in
that-
your
Goes
case,
up to an
because
11
your
as
weapons
well.
are mostly strength based.
Oh no,
so-
that only goes up to a 10. I'm sorry.
10.
Because you get an
Seven.
additional one on your yeah,
Yeah.
7 plus your
This is an
proficiency bonus.
additional
volume.
one. So
So that's
this
a
is-
10. Your athletics
go?
is a 10 right there.
So basically, while it doesn't affect much of the position, you hit anything with your battle axe attuned,
It-
and it's going to start
It's an
getting very
addition.
bloody
It's basically an
quickly.
additional +2 to hit and damage on all of your melee weapons.
Yep.
So basically, you become very dangerous now very quickly. And when you're raging, oh look, bloody smears everywhere.
Boop,
Okay.
Boopity boopity boop boop.
All right. So, right. Got
Are you
through
writing
the
down your
bells,
plan?
Got through the advice.
No, checking with something.
So I'll.
You can set a note aside.
Doesn't have to be handled right this second, Evan.
Right. Okay. I can already follow where this could be going. It was more to get a sense of that. So, for the sake of. Basically, after her advice and explaining the belt, she's left the belt on the counter. Do you take the belt?
well, this sounds like something that I would really like, and I will accept it with thanks.
As I try. And because I've been asked this question now several times, consider it a
wonder
gift
why.
from us to you.
Us,
Yes.
Her and Margaret and Elizabeth.
you, and you and
Justine
who
and
are us,
Caroline
man?
and Lavenza.
Oprah.
And that guy from
I feel that will be a
P3P
story for a
Theodore.
different time.
I see.
and
Now,
Igor.
as time always seems to pass far too quickly. You should probably continue on before it gets far later.
I will be so pissed.
As you step out,
All the
I'm
more
assuming,
reason.
You notice that it looks like you've lost a couple hours of daylight, even though it feels like it's only
Da,
been
da,
about 10
da.
minutes.
You have my D4 back, please. Thank you.
Now then.
Okay.
I mean, you did fling it at me.
So to that end, would you say
trying
after
to
that
stab
encounter
myself
you're
in the
heading back to
flu.
the estate?
I'm heading back to the estate with
Okay.
And I'm
Um,
feeling
and
that
I'm-
you three will have a conversation.
And I'm
with-
wearing
Yes,
I'm
she
wearing my
still
new
needs to
belt.
buy her stuff.
It's very stylish.
I'm just gonna
Or-
assume I pay
We just
You
assume
want
the
enough
core
time.
rule book price and.
And then slashing half because of.
Mhm.
Now then, Robert, you said you were going from the poor section through to
Affluent.
wherever it would lead up to.
I mean, over however much time that would take. Not necessarily all in one
Well,
day,
considering that you'd
per
be
se,
heading
but
out and
like
then
I've
back.
got 15 days of.
Right. I would assume by the point where I have you showing up, you would have worked your way through the various ruined areas and have worked your way through most of the poor quarters.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
It is a fairly big city.
No, I know.
And, you know, like you said, 15 days, he's worked his way through it. So, Robert, in your case, and don't worry, Sarah, we will.
Hang on,
get
I've
to
got
this.
another one.
For me specifically?
Yep.
Alright, just
I
hand it
have
to
the
me and we'll-
papers out, Sarah.
And I'll get to
Yeah, but
that
she's
in
already
order.
started tearing that other sheet, so.
Yep. It's
So,
it's a matter of pride at this
In
point.
your case, Robert, nestled between what looks like two regular homes, obviously run down because you can tell you're in the much
Did you
poorer
listen to
area of town.
Yes.
You did.
Unlike the last time you saw this storefront, there is an open sign on it.
No, you stay out here.
Checking to see if
In there.
I would recognize that it's the same storefront.
It has been closer like 2 or 3 weeks since the last time you would have been
Yeah.
looking.
Apparently, yes, though. Like, it does strike a chord, weirdly. Huh. Wasn't this? I must be imagining things. This couldn't have moved. Apparently, if it is the same place, at least they're looking for business this time, I guess. Out of place, but heck with it.
So then I'm assuming you open the door?
Sure.
Again, just to avoid it so I don't eventually scratch in my throat because I can feel it. You see Ellen behind the counter. Upon you entering her store, keep that in order. Where was I? Right, upon entering the store, she turns to you and gives you a smile and says, "Ah, Ka, I'm glad you decided to stop in. Although I feel that since I forgot to put the open sign up, I noticed that you had walked right on by."
Well, I see my reputation precedes me, but that was clearly a different place. It was in a totally different section of town. Remarkably similar appearance, but clearly completely different. I find it difficult to believe you could have moved an entire building this far in
2
the
days.
time it's been.
Well, unlike most stores, those who seem to be looking for things always seem to find it no matter where they are. And I know you've been wandering about, so what is it you're looking for?
Oh, I've not been looking for anything in particular. I've just sort of been exploring. It's my first time in the city, and I figured I'd get a feel for it, you know?
Quite understandable. That should be interesting. Hold on. Give me a second to find this, because if I remember the description, Robert, I'll make sure I have it in front of me. Shit. Yep, there it is. Okay. Now you see her stop for a minute and contemplate. Holds up a finger and then disappears through that same velvet door. After what seems like about 20 minutes, the door reopens. And she has a sword in a scabbard and sets it on the counter. Now, I know that swords are not your thing, however, I feel like in your endeavors you could use a little luck. Are you familiar with luck blades?
I can't say I'm familiar with most bladed weapons, really.
Well, As I said, I know full well that blades are not your thing. However, what this particular one does might be more useful for you. For the purposes of stats, this is just a short sword, so it'll be a piercing type weapon.
Right.
Follows all the usual things, and with covering explanation-wise, legendary does require attunement. Besides the usual +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls as you would expect, while the sword is on your person, you gain a +1 bonus to saving throws. Just tell me when you're caught up, because there's 2 more things you're going to want to know. Luck effect. If the sword is on your person, you can call upon its luck, no action required, to re-roll 1 attack roll, ability check, or saving throw that you dislike. Of course, the downside is you must use the second roll, and this property cannot be used until the next dawn.
Attack, saving throw, or ability check.
Right. And again, you must use the second roll.
So it's a mulligan for crit fails.
Right. And because it literally is just a matter of on your person, you don't even have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
There is one final thing to it.
Once per day.
Wish. This sword has 1d4 minus 1 charges. In this case, it has 1 charge of Wish. While holding it, you can use an action to expend a charge and cast the Wish spell. Per our last discussion, when you had Wish, this will function as Old School Wish. Now, once the last charge has been used, the sword will lose this particular property. Otherwise, it has still got the other effect of luck.
Wow.
So you currently
Another
have
wish.
Wish on a stick, very literally.
Yeah.
So, let's do
Wow.
track of things. I told you, my dice like you guys!
Wow.
Now, to that end, after she finishes explaining what the sword does, she leaves it on the counter for you to choose whether you decide to claim it.
I mean, it sounds incredibly powerful, but what's the catch here? I mean, you're a shop. So,
Of sorts.
what is it you sell exactly?
I believe I've given various answers to the other members of your party. Sin, Elysis, Ha,
That would be me.
or Oscar. Don't mind me, I'm still tired apparently. Where was I? Right. Let us just say that we strive toward finding things people need.
Things people need, you say? I wouldn't have seen myself needing a sword, but given that you seem to know many things that by rights you shouldn't know, you know, maybe I'm willing to go with you on this one. Very well.
And I bet you grab the sword?
Now, you said it's in a scabbard.
Yes.
What are we talking in terms of, like...
Appearance?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it's not gonna use it as a weapon. It's not gonna use it as a weapon, so I'm gonna go with the massively impractical way to carry a sword and sling, like, over the, like, back mount it, yeah. Because it's basically impossible to draw a sword that way unless it's about that long. But...
Considering I think you would slowly slice your own head off.
Well, no, it's not even that. Your arm...
It'll get stuck.
It will get stuck. Your arm
In the-
cannot
Oh, because
extend
it's-
You
past
can't
here.
pull it out of the
And
scabbard.
you've still got like half the blade in the scabbard. You cannot draw a sword that way.
So I take it the
Unless
actual
it's-
on the waist is
like-
actually the way most swords would have been
Well,
drawn.
it's the only way
logically.
you really can. It is physically impossible to draw a sword that way. In fact, if you look in movies, anytime they have somebody drawing a sword that way in movies, it's always a cut. They'll start drawing it, and then they will either cut to like a face or cut to something else. And by the time they
The
cut
blade's
back,
already
the
out.
blade is unsheathed. you never see a full draw because you would have to basically have a go-go gadget.
You don't have to
do that.
you don't have to draw the sword. do you?
Exactly
As
his
long as
point.
That's
you
my
get
point.
into it and on
That's my
person.
point, is that I don't have to draw it, and I never have to draw it. I
Right.
just have to have
Have
it
it,
on
right.
me. So I'm going to wear it the badass way.
Okay.
Again, it's more of a stat stick to go, I don't like this roll.
I mean, I'm almost curious if the blade has a metal point, if he could use it as, or a metal handle, if he could use it as a lightning rod of sorts for
So
his
what it's worth-
for his lightning based spells.
If you look at, because it actually does have a drawing of it. So let's say,
So there might actually be potential reason to keep it
so
somewhere
Robert,
Even
accessible.
then, I
blade
have
is the one at the
daggers that I
bottom
could
with the
just as
three
easily use for that.
diamond-looking ones on it. As far as I
Yeah,
can tell, it
it's-
is gold diamond.
Well,
leather
gold's
wrap.
non-conductive.
Yeah, gold's non-conductive.
Yeah, gold's non-conductive. Leather is non-conductive.
Right, but
So-
otherwise it has what looks like an iron or steel core that runs through it.
Sure. But that wouldn't matter if the
Mhm.
surface didn't conduct. So like,
Yeah.
in using the the pommel as like a lightning rod, it wouldn't function in
Why
that.
Why does gold not conduct?
It doesn't.
doesn't.
Gold just it doesn't conduct. That's just a thing. Or it sort of does, but very very poorly, basically.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, I wanted to make sure you could see what it looked like so that it's
It's a fancy jeweled sword. Yeah.
Yep. With fun shit on a stick, basically.
Hmm.
So, at that, am I right to assume you'd be exiting the store?
After
Requiring,
Yeah,
Taking the sword?
after that, and offering my thanks, and with the farewell of, I'll keep my eye open for you in future. If, as you claim, you're the same store, I have a feeling I'll come across you again.
I suspect in your travels you will.
Well then, until next time, Margaret.
Wrong, sister.
Close enough.
At that, by the way, when you exit, do you turn around to see if it's still there?
Given,
curious from your characters.
given what happened last time, yeah, sure.
Like the last time, the store is no longer there.
Okay.
Gonna reach back just to make sure the sword's still there?
It is.
Huh. Well, either I'm going mad, or there's some powerful magic going on.
Now
Okay.
then, give me a second to read through both of these because this is going to be relevant to what your two
Right.
characters are doing. While I'm doing this, if you three want to have a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
considering
Yeah.
now all four of you have
Are back
reason
at
to
the-
talk to each other as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm certainly going to talk about what happened to me, and I got this belt. And
Ah, so you met Ellen.
yes,
She's quite generous, isn't she?
Ellen be generous. Yes. She'd be very generous.
I got this.
And suddenly I've become a ghetto dwarf.
Ellen, be generous.
Ellen be generous.
Yeah, she gave me another floaty stone. I think I'm collecting them now. I want more.
I got a fancy new rod from her.
What about you? You get anything interesting, Ka?
No, not
I clearly
really.
see something new on your person.
What's it do?
You've got a sword.
I do.
Oh my god. We still have that book, and we have another wish.
Yes, you do.
We do.
It depends on if Kyle wants to
If we
extend
want- God level charisma.
that. Again, I had set the precedence.
Yes, you did.
And we do have a lot of social events coming up. Plenty of opportunity to practice.
Ash isn't here.
So,
I would like Ash to be present.
So the answer to
what
this
you
one
want's
is
irrelevant if
Sarah.
he wants to use it now.
This is
Well-
the second one you handed to me.
From what I've been told, it
This one.
makes me lucky.
Sounds useful.
I mean, it was shiny.
This can help me cast more spells.
This gives me additional strength.
This, she says, pointing at the floating pearl that's circling around her head, helps restore energy and rejuvenate you after bad fights.
Oh, it's like Gatorade.
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
We'll change that to Dwarven Brandy.
No, totally leave it as Gator.
Is it made from gators?
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you
Yes.
are you helping?
That's not a problem at all.
Why would
For what it's
helping
worth, I'm figuring
gators
even if
increase
metallurgically
your?
they don't have all
I don't
the
know.
Does
bigger,
anybody? Is this a
minor
dwarven
gemstones
thing?
shading
Does
the
anybody
one
know
that
what
they
this
could
is
be.
about?
This might be a
Sparkle.
dwarven thing.
Yeah, I thought this one might be a stretch, but
That one I can see being reasonable. The other one, you'll need a different method.
yeah, it was just a thought based off what's on my list.
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'm going to go this
Is
way.
it the next day?
I'm going to say, unless you guys have anything particular to do, this will just progress quickly up to day 15, unless there's specific plan. So yes,
Well, we-
You're
got
just
some
gonna have
planning to do.
Ashley be
So,
gone
well,
for 15 days?
I'm
and-
waiting for you to break in terms of when the
Okay.
hell does she show back up? Because you are
But
the
it-
only one that knows.
Well, I don't really know.
Well, that depends on whether she ends up waiting to see when Tiberius gets back to the Marilla state. Because if that's the case, it's going to be a
But
couple
as
days that
characters,
she's gone.
all we know about your sword is it makes you lucky.
Well,
Pretty
I never
much.
had that information, so I was assuming she'd go back to her sister
Right. Like I said,
on
it's
the day after the day after.
okay. Yeah.
At least because she's got work she needs to do that she
Mhm.
can't keep doing at the Marilla Estate.
Yeah, and I figured she'd probably because
She'd leave a note.
well, the other thing is basically when Marquita gets there, she confirms that Julie did make it to her estate
Mm-hmm.
because Julie has a bloodstone for tracking Ty when shit gets real.
Okay.
So she got to him pretty much immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It was just she wasn't sure where she'd find him or in what condition,
Mm-hmm.
and so she had Ash.
She
and
should still have the
Tor staying
sending
there.
stone too, anyway. So
Mhm.
Ash would have just been, "Hey, I really need to go. I got stuff I need to do.
Yeah, which she would have understood.
That I can't leave to Sebas alone."
But yeah, I just wasn't sure if she'd be sticking around to see what sort of state Ty's in when he finally does.
No,
Get
she'd
back to
ask
the
Julie
estate.
to notify her as soon as they're going back. So she shows up the next morning.
What's interesting is I'm not sure if Julie's gonna be going back to Waterdeep right away or not. Julie, with everything that's been going on lately, and as a courtesy while she's out that way, is debating going to go see Adara and Ignatius.
Francesca's already going to be sent to go see them. To tell them that they probably want to lay low or hide somewhere else for a few
Well, Julie's
Years.
Julie's got
Decades.
some. Julie's got some concerns of her own, and she wants to make sure, at the very least, that they know that at the very least that Ash's powers have actually finally started coming in.
Mm-hmm.
As well as to check and see with either of them as to how things are going up there, because at this point it's been a few years since she's seen them,
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't technically get a proper goodbye from either of them.
Right, because they were gone.
So she's kind of tempted to head that way, since she herself isn't in Neverwinter all that often either.
Right.
And as long as she's that far north, she might as well, would be her thought.
Mm-hmm. No, makes sense.
And because even if they do move, like in the event that Francesca beats her there, which she probably, I don't know.
Francesca doesn't head out until the day we were all doing the shopping. basically.
Okay. So she'd still have beaten Julie there, but
She'll still beat her.
because Julie sort of figures that by the time she makes it, by the time they leave and she makes it to Fire Shear, she's got her voice back.
Mm-hmm.
Worst case scenario, she sings a little bit to try and get Ignatius's attention. If they're not where she expects them to be. Because interestingly enough, they've got sort of they've almost got a
a tracking radar on each other, because as the storms start up, she senses the direction.
She can know which direction he's going because as he flies, storms come.
Yep. So, which was another one of those things that I was going to bring up as something to potentially work on at some point. It's not like it's crucial or anything like that. It's just a, hey, you know, here's what's going on with Ash and Sin, because they're a little bit busy and probably won't have the time to come out and see you themselves. Also, hi.
Yeah, she would definitely be showing up the next morning with Tor.
Well, I hear they're releasing a new, a new revision on the Vita in Japan.
For what?
A new revision for the Vita in Japan.
Revision? You mean a new version?
Yeah,
Okay, that makes more sense.
I think that was what I heard that mentioned somewhere.
By the way, just so you guys know, the question that's actually relevant to what I was writing notes to Adam about is, would Elysis have been able to buy some sparklers or small fireworks that she could use as projectiles for the purpose of conjure barrage? If so, she'd like 3.
It'd work, and it'd be a thing.
Yeah, basically she plans on being a one-woman firework show as they're floating down the streets.
That's interesting and cool. All right, it would definitely draw attention and a crowd.
If she's gonna do this, she's doing it her way. The other thing was, I was curious to see if I might be able to use spike growth to sort of like having the spikes emerge from the wood, have it splinter so the stage could be freed. The answer to that was no.
Oh, okay.
Although to be fair, it is only a level 2 spell, so
Yeah, it's fair enough. So they would have to do some undercover work.
yeah, she's got a plan to make sure she catches the attention of the people, but and she might even talk once Ash gets back to Ash about, because she's seen Ash use Mage Hand, levitating some hoops in the air for her to jump through.
She can only do one hand at a time, but yeah, that could work.
And she's kind of debating not being on stage at the start so that when people start asking where she is, she can just sort of fire an arrow into a building and zip line down onto the stage.
All right. Now we just gotta wait for Adam to come back.
Like I said, if she's doing this, she's overdoing this.
Cinder's going along with it, so
Makoto with Futaba's hairstyle
Since
works.
Adam
really
takes
well,
it forever to go to
actually.
the
It does.
bathroom anyway, I'm gonna go to the bathroom upstairs.
So you're talking about a P5 version of the Vita?
No, I'm saying I think they've got a new hardware revision coming
Oh,
out.
okay. So actual new Vita.
That's what I heard.
So Vita V3, basically.
Although I think they might be calling it the Vita 2,
Okay.
which would be kind of
Going up the dumb creek of Xbox 360 to the X-Bone.
well, it was the Vita, and then it was the Vita
Oh,
1000, and
Adam's
then
back and the Sarah
then
left.
the Vita 2000. Oh, well,
Sorry about
hold
that.
on, it's okay. I can continue the trend.
Sorry. about
As I was saying, Ash would be showing up the next day,
that. So,
sometime after breakfast, before people would have disappeared.
okay.
With Tor.
Well, once I get back, unless you've already been discussing this among.
No, I think everybody knows who Tor is.
Well, I was going to give the option for any kind of roleplay introductions, etc. Oh, that was not pleasant. I'm not going to say. I know I was away, that just.
Sarah's back now. We gotta wait for Robert.
Yeah, I figured that while I was gone, someone else would go too.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Ooh.
So I shared to them what the yes note was about.
Yeah,
Ah.
she kind of explained that to
Well,
us.
because that would factor into part of the plan. That's why I wanted to at least get that answered. As I said, for the other one, you
Creative use of spells.
As for the other one, you'll have to figure out a different way for the other half.
Yeah, not sure. There's nothing in her spell list that outside of that would give her any way to do that.
Alright, since everyone is back, as you have mentioned,
Yep.
Ash has returned.
Near the end of breakfast on the next day, Ash returns with a small child in tow. What have you guys been up to?
I have another floaty stone. She says, and she pulls out the pearl.
Feel free to roll either straight up intelligence or if you have Arcana.
She doesn't have Arcana, but that is a 25.
That's good enough to tell you that you've at least heard stories of what that is.
That's quite the fancy stone you have there.
Uh-huh. I now have 2 fancy floaty stones. And she just pulls it out of the air, puts it back in her bag.
Okay.
We all found a rather interesting shop, and I got this belt.
Similar
Okay.
deal, either intelligence or whatever to tell what it is.
No.
10.
And it increases my strength when I wear
That'd be very useful for you.
it. I thought so.
The Cinder's just going, I got a new staff. A rod.
Rod.
All I can think is, I got a stick!
Got a stick.
It can definitely be used as a dildo if you're brave enough.
Is he actually saying that in character?
No.
I figured I should ask.
And what about you? Since it seems like everybody else has gotten something fancy.
No, I did some wandering of my own.
He got a sword.
A sword?
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
You don't really use swords.
Yeah, I know, but the lady insisted that it was something I'd need, so...
Okay.
For what it's
Interesting.
worth, because as far as I know, it's not hidden. Feel free to roll perception again with intelligence.
Perception?
If he's
It's-
actively.
If it's perception,
Suddenly
it's a 26.
perception instead of Arcana.
Well, to notice that the sword's there, assuming you haven't just turned around and
It's
shoved
on
it.
my back!
26.
There's a friggin' hit, like a...
Or
Then-
21 if you want to go with
Then
intelligence.
looking at the hilt,
Mm-hmm.
a similar enough item because it's a rare enough sword.
That's a really fancy blade.
Yeah, that's what I was led to believe as well.
What are your guys' plans for the day?
Nobody's told her about the invite.
Oh, so some noble douchebag decided that we all have to attend some sort of party thing. I'm not super keen on the idea, but Cinder told me I could turn it into a giant performance and make a really big show and ordeal out of the whole thing. And something about shooting some guy named Caspian in the dick if he doesn't show up.
And Ash just starts laughing.
Ow, come on, language, there's a king here.
Yeah?
Sorry, small child. Who's
It's
he?
okay. Oh, this is my son Tor. Tor, this is Ellis's. This is Oscar. This is Ka. And he just says, hello.
Hello,
Does he
small
look
child.
a little uneasy around the crazy
Yes.
group of
I got this. I still have apples from that time we were at the orchard. Exploding apple mash for the child.
people. Roll a percentile, see if it explodes.
No, I'm purposefully making it explode.
Yeah,
you don't understand.
We covered
This is
this.
heat until it pops. Exploding hot apple mash for child.
Okay. He looks confused, but goes, can you do it again?
I got more apples. Pop.
And all I can think right now is with the exploding apples, the smell of caramelized sugars and hot apples start to walk through the room.
It smells really good.
Ooh, are we playing show off time now? Alice says with a smile. Because I can do this, and poof, and there are like Spike's brief little like vine spikes coming out of some of the walls. And she's just like, it'll go away when I want it to. And she waves her hand and they disappear.
Roll to see just how intimidated Tor is, because I can tell you're struggling a little on.
I exploded apples and gave him
He's
food.
not
It was
very
just-
intimidated.
But
He's just
curious.
like, these people are nuts.
Child, watch this. Yaris.
And now there's a flying sword.
A
Excalibur!
bit dangerous. Cinder has to say it's attuned to her.
Oh.
Yeah, they are attuned. Oh, that's right. They are attuned weapons, aren't they?
Yes, they're attuned weapons.
Oh, well, he's at 3
Yeah,
then.
he's at 3.
Okay.
Yaris isn't.
Actually, I think Dad's right.
Yaris is not.
Yeah, Yaris isn't.
I thought it said that it was
I'm
an
gonna go double
attunement
check.
one.
Meantime, continue your RP while I go look.
This comes right out
Well,
of
this
the
is
books
important
here.
because if it's not attuned, then her sword is flying around now too.
Yeah, I think he's. I
Yeah.
think that's
Would be
right.
accurate. Oh,
Because I did pull it straight from like the description in here, straight from.
For some reason, I
Roll20.
remember being told we had to make it attuned.
I'm taking a look now. Alright, guys.
No, because the second Ellisis said it, when she saw the word
No,
on the
it is
wall,
flagged as
it
requires
floated.
attunement.
Wait, what?
It does show requires
Does
attunement.
it?
For Dancing Blade?
Oh yeah, it does.
Okay. So, Excalibur can't fly around until Cinder says the word.
So Oscar calls Yaris back.
It's turned into an outright
He just
search.
looks at Ash and goes, "You traveled with these people? How are you alive?"
Rude. And her rope starts snaking across the floor.
The hell?
Look, I only almost lit her on fire several times. It was fine.
Forget the volcano.
And there was that time I almost missed with my crossbow. I shoot through your mom a lot.
I've never come close to hitting her with an axe.
I'm beginning to think.
Tor is just now hiding behind Ash. Like,
But I
what the
made him
fuck?
apple mash.
What is
This
Cinder
child
doing
is
during
rude.
this as well?
Cinder is just watching and laughing. I think she kind of expected this would happen.
Child, do you want to play cards?
Oh,
Do you
dear.
like
Sure.
cards? All right, so then Oscar starts playing cards with the child.
No, I thought you were gonna pull out the deck of many things.
Oh, no.
I thought he was going to offer the
Oh,
child the
shit.
deck of many things for
No.
a second.
That's actually what I thought was gonna
I'm horribly
happen.
tempted to say you pull out the wrong deck, but
That
would
would
be
be
dick.
Oh,
really
no.
That
horrifying.
would be dick, though. I'm not
Can
going
we roll
to.
a percentile though, just to see?
No, we're not. We're not going to potentially unmake another universe. The only way we'll roll percentile is if Reed actually thinks Oscar could accidentally grab it.
No, he's very, very, very protective of the deck.
Again, I'm trying not to remove player agency, so I will
We
say
could play
right up
cards.
front.
Although, again, as a
if you do
reminder,
feel at any point you want to roll to see if Oscar would purposely grab the wrong one, just a standard percentile roll.
as a reminder, to our knowledge, the deck has never done anything bad.
True.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
But-
only done good things for
yes, but
us.
several of us know what it is.
Has anybody explained that to
Yes,
Oscar?
Cinder
But-
knows what it is and what it can
yes.
Several of
do.
us
Yeah.
know what it is and how dangerous it
And I
can
So does
be.
believe it was
Ashley, which is why she
explained to
never
me
drew
at the
it.
time that I.
Well, I was referring
Acquired.
more to in character as well.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's.
yes.
I
Several
think it
of the
was, yes.
characters,
Including but not limited to Ellisis of all people.
several of the characters rolled and knew what it was and what it was capable of.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure from consistency. 'cause-
Yeah.
Anyway. Now,
I have Tor's character sheet.
is he interested in playing cards?
Yep.
Alright.
Okay.
So
So they
it's not a problem. He's a child. He doesn't have stats.
So they
child
go off-
stats are garbage tier.
they go off to the side and play Go Fish.
Or some variant thereof.
Yeah.
So, anybody else going over to play cards? Are you continuing to eat breakfast? Are you filling each other in on day's events, sort of things, etc.?
Oh, Ellisis just sort of looks at Cinder and says, I bought explosives for that event.
Oh, right! We should probably share this with Ash.
I'm assuming
Well, a
Ash is
little
looking-
more in detail.
I'm assuming Ash is looking moderately concerned.
Yes. What are you two up to?
I heard explosives. I'm suddenly interested.
Oh, I bought these fireworks because and Ellis tosses a bolt in the air and you just watch as like there's a shower of bolts on the floor in the other direction that then disappear and she reclaims her steel one.
Please restrain yourself from doing that kind of stuff in my house. And around my son.
I didn't hit anything. I aimed for an open space.
Child, this would be more fun if we bet a few coppers on every hand.
You're on.
I'm assuming at which point he
You're
pulls
playing
out.
with the son of a rogue.
Oh boy. If you're actually going to be actively doing shit, I'm going to require some kind of rolling to figure out who's winning these hands.
Although
Oh,
Robert
okay.
does have an interesting point though.
So this is
Yes.
that there are rules for adjusting stats for children.
So this is an initiative?
Where?
At least
There's
there,
none in the
at least
player's
there were
handbook.
in 3.5.
In 3.5 there were.
We'll settle
And
that
in
in a second.
Pathfinder,
In terms of for you two, to keep things rolling quickly,
Uh-huh.
for each hand you're both going to roll off on a d20. Higher value wins.
Okay.
Is this initiative?
Just
Hold on.
in case you're
No.
curious, there are rules for dragon dice.
Well, they're playing a card
We're
game, so
playing a card.
Oh,
Yeah,
game.
they're
right,
playing
sorry,
Go
sorry.
Crit fail.
Gotcha.
Tor wins the first hand.
Woohoo.
That's why I'm using this for the sake of...
Tor won the first hand, so he's won a couple copper pennies.
Okay, I'm going to go with, depending on how long you two are playing, roll as you get into new hands, as long as you either feel like it, or until conversation drags you away from it.
Okay.
So,
So-
to that end, just roll off, keep track of who wins or loses. Now,
Thor wins again.
Okay, he's got 4.
So where was I? Right, you're still
Thor
looking at
wins
3
again.
5
Six.
rolls to see on that, which we'll get to in a second. Was it something you were looking at, Robert?
Well, no.
Thor
Crit
wins
fail,
again.
8.
So,
Tor loses.
while those
He's
two
up
are all
6.
playing in the corner, and I'm assuming that Alice has explained to
Tor
Ash.
loses again.
Oh,
He's up
Cinder
4.
and Alice, I should say, are talking to Ash about what's going on. Which for any
Loses.
salient points
He's
that I'll
up
need
2.
to know, we'll get to that also in a minute.
Wins.
So,
He's up
one of
4.
the maids comes into the room and purposely is looking
He's
for
up
Ash.
2.
I'm sorry, what? Ooh.
A nat
We're
20.
even, and now
We're
I'm gonna pay
even.
attention. I'm gonna pay attention
Yeah.
to the conversations.
Okay, for the purposes of this, who's got the higher dexterity right now?
We're looking up rules for children, so I don't know what Tor actually
And we'll
has.
settle that thing in a second. So,
So in 3.5,
This isn't 3.5.
sorry, but
Yeah, you have to remember this is 5e.
Sure.
right, I
the
want to see
5
what the rules are before I say whether we'll allow it or not.
the 5e forums,
That already makes me a little dubious.
yeah, because
How
I'm
about
trying to see if
official
there's
rules, Sarah?
finding official rules on
That
a
means
cell
they
phone
don't-
at last minute.
They don't
as far as I
exist.
can see from the main guy and
They
whatnot,
don't exist, Ben.
So for the purposes of keeping it streamlined so we keep things rolling, assume just standard villager stats in terms of
I don't have those on this piece of paper.
there's no detriment right now because of age.
Okay.
Because again, son of a rogue, you will have been trained enough. So outside of maybe a potential penalty from size to strength for a game of chance and skill, I can speak.
There are no official rules for children in 5e.
So in this case, it'll be irrelevant. So in this case, because of sleight of hand
That was
related
easy.
shenanigans,
Yeah.
who's got the higher dex?
Um,
And this will be straight
Tor
from the
does.
sheets.
Tor is a
Actual
19.
Reed, what's your dexterity?
16.
16.
Then in this case, whether it be by sleight of hand or such, Tor manages to pull it off.
Sleight of hand. Duh.
Ellis just looks at him and goes, because her passive perception's 22. Cheater.
I don't know what you're talking about. Mom and I
Child,
play
you
like
didn't
this
cheat
all the
me,
time.
did you?
No,
Would Ash step in at all? Or is she distracted by the messenger?
she's distracted by other shit apparently. So what
Oscar.
the hell's going on?
Oscar's kind of chuckling to himself that the kid tried to cheat him.
So, an envelope that is handed over bears Lord Neverember's seal. At which point, assuming Ash just opens it,
She would. Going, what the fuck is this?
inside you see an accounting of Theneldra's estate, of what they've tallied up so far.
Okay.
And again, considering the last time. So, for context, I'm assuming she'd be reading this out loud.
Yes.
Okay. So, for what they have found so far, they have found assorted documents that will take time to sort through, but from what they can see so far, there's various letters, various deeds, blueprints, a lot of documentation covering anything from business practices she's been running all the way through to what looked like certain correspondences with the Zentrum.
Mm-hmm.
And from what they can see, the Zentrum appear to have been getting fed up with her demands from just a cursory glance and actually digging through it. Now, in terms of personal wealth that they found in various either main rooms or certain hidden caches as they've been tearing apart the building, they have found 1,200 copper, 12,000 silver, 3,600 gold, 180 platinum.
She's not nearly as low as I would have expected her to be.
This is what they found so far.
Yeah.
Right. And
Still.
In her estate.
there's also a lot of documents covering
Right.
business and other things.
Still, just in raw cash, she's not even as low as I would have thought her to be.
There are 15 art pieces worth 250 gold apiece.
Cheap tastes in art.
Well, it's things like gold bracelets, things with jade inlays, etc.
That would be
For jewelry.
That's jewelry,
not art pieces.
It actually covers under art pieces, strangely enough.
Jewelry could be kind of
Like if you look
artistic.
at, for what it's worth, if you look at the treasure table, it
I mean, I
actually-
trust you. Just like,
I know it's weird. I would have expected them to separate, but they rolled it all together under art.
yeah, it's just a weird classification. That's all.
There are, and I shit you not, because I know this question's going to come up, 69
Giggity.
gems worth 100 gold apiece. For example, this would be things like pearl, tourmaline, and jet.
Mm-hmm.
Jet?
Yeah, they actually qualify
You
as
mean
a
like the stuff from Fallout that makes time go slow?
No,
No,
like the
it's-
douchebag guy from Avatar: The Last Airbender that Katara pinned to a tree with ice.
Close enough. Anyway,
I
there
thought
are
that was the
69
chat.
of
As in
those with
chat, you
100
betcha.
gold apiece.
100 gold piece. Got it.
Yeah, so it's 69. Yep. Now,
Giggity.
37.50 in gold from the artwork.
so the last items they found thus far, all appear to be items of high quality, and of what they've been able to identify so far. And I'm just going to read these off real quick.
Mhm.
We'll get to further bits in a minute. They found 20 +3 ammunition, specifically crossbow bolts. They found, where's my actual count of this? Can I actually not fucking tally it up? They found multiple potions of healing. I'll actually find the number I have on here in a minute. They found 6, and this is more for player knowledge, first level scrolls. I'll get to the types in a minute. They found a drift globe. For those curious, it's basically a light source that you can toss into the air and it'll hover for you.
Oh, another hover ball. I mean,
Yeah,
Basically.
that's good analysis.
yeah, pretty much.
Basically.
It'd be good for somebody that can use light sources in dark spaces.
Be good for somebody who's
But
trying
the
to
person
hover
that
all
can use
kinds of
light
things around
sources in
their
dark
head.
spaces isn't going to be with us for very much longer.
Yeah.
Right.
So, also found was a potion of fire breath, a rod of the Pact Keeper, +3,
A rod of what?
the Pact Keeper, so the same thing Robert's got, of the same type. So it's a +3 variation of it. Where was I? After the Pact Keeper, right. A Sentinel Shield, and a Staff of the Python. Yes, we're getting into coding here.
I prefer the staff of the C++. Personally,
Why not Staff of the Basic?
no, staff with the ruby. That's the real way to go.
Is it on rails?
Staff of Carol
Possibly.
the Robot.
Yeah.
staff of staff of Intercal.
The final item they found, they haven't really been able to
What
identify
was the
other.
staff anyway? Staff of something?
Oh,
Staff
for
of
the last one,
Python.
it's Staff,
Staff
of
of Python.
Staff of Monty Python.
For
Staff of Flying
curiosity's
Circus.
sake, Lyre. I know it's the musical instrument. Is it a
Lyre.
lyre or? it is
Lyre.
Okay. I'm like, am I actually reading and pronouncing that right?
Oh, right. This item.
Yes. They can tell it's of high quality, but they can't really identify if there's anything else about it, other than it seems to be in pristine condition.
So
So, in terms of the spell scrolls, there were 6 of the level 1 scrolls. So, there was one for Arms of Hadar, or Hadar, depending on pronunciation.
Hodor.
Well, considering that miswritten, it would be Hodor. Look at the spelling. Hadar.
No.
What am I looking?
Hodor is H
No,
O
it's
D
Arms
O
of Hodor. Hodor, yes.
Hodor.
If you horribly
Hodor.
write the A's as
Hodor,
O's, it would be
Hodor.
Hodor.
Hodor!
Game of Thrones.
Hodor!
Next on there was an armor of, I want to say it's Agathys. Agathys.
Agathys?
Okay.
I think that's how it would be pronounced. Anyway, there's a scroll of Hex.
Hats?
Hex.
Ah, Hex, not like Team Fortress 2.
Oh, fuck off on that. Hellish Rebuke.
You bad person, you.
Stop being bad!
Bad Hitler.
Servant.
Tisk,
bad Hitler, stop invading Poland.
And Witch Bolt.
Which bolt?
Which,
No, which one though?
Which bolt?
Which bolt are we
Oh my
talking
gosh,
about?
Which is
guys,
on
come
first?
on.
So, actually, was Witch on first or? How did,
No,
Who's
who
on
was on
Who's on
first?
first?
there
Who's
we go.
on first?
What's on
What's
second?
on second?
I don't know who's on
third
third.
base.
There we go.
I'm
So-
familiar with the WoW one.
One fly ball, two because. Why? I don't know. He's on third and I don't give a darn.
So, to that end, that is what they have currently found and identified. At least in terms of personal wealth, if she has anything off-site, they're not aware of it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously for the documents, because it's dense and some of them are actually coded, those are going to take a while to
Mhm.
break down.
So Oscar's wondering who's going to be reviewing those documents.
That will be for me to do.
Or
Ash.
trusted agents.
No,
or
what's going to be
whatever.
reviewing those documents?
Or whenever Francesca comes back, she will be helping me with.
So to that end, that is so far what they have found
Mm-hmm.
in the estate. Now to that end, are there any items that you would be initially requesting?
Well, Ash would ask that question to the group.
Well, obviously the money.
Yeah, the money should
I
be
figured you
split.
guys would want
Yeah.
that.
And any green or silverish gemstones. Oh, and that shiny orb.
Do you even know what that does?
It's a light source.
Okay.
It can join my collection of floaty objects.
I did a quick recap. There are 6 potions of healing that were in there.
So
And this is just the regular version, so it's the
So-
2d4 variant.
Oscar wouldn't mind having some potions.
Well, there'll be 6 of these regular ones for you guys to divvy up on however you so choose.
Is there any note on when this stuff will be
Available? This is
Available.
literally what they have found
Okay.
so far, so it's,
so we can just
What
go
they
to
want.
her estate and pick this up?
or have somebody run and request that it be delivered to
Right.
a certain location, etc.
Okay.
So it is immediately available.
Okay.
For the money, Robert, I can't remember and remind me, with the whole debit related thing we had discussed, was the rest of the party aware of it? in terms of
Ash
what-
and Cinder were.
Right, I don't remember though for these two. If they're
I
characters.
mean, I don't think I outright discussed that I've done it.
Yeah, I don't
with
think you
anyone.
did.
No.
So Ash would at this point mention it because it's a lot of cash
To carry
to
around.
carry around.
Well, Ellis's had actually been debating talking to, when she shows up eventually again, Julie, about maybe setting up an account for her in Waterdeep, since she's getting the impression the twins aren't particularly fond of Neverwinter.
Oh, Ellis's? Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where the account is set up if it's Lord's Alliance.
No, but
If you have
but
to
she
physically
The money
go
would still be in
Yeah,
Neverwinter's coffers.
and she's not okay with that.
Oscar would take his share of whatever money came in and give it to Ash,
For what it's worth,
because
for the sake of,
Ash
Oh, right, because you owe her.
3,000. So
for what it's worth, for all
She would only take the
basically
3,000.
any city that's allied
I don't
with
think
the
we're up to
Lord's Alliance
3,000
can handle doing any sort of cash related stuff. So if you choose to set up in another city, you could have somebody run off to set that up. So even if the cash is still physically in Neverwinter, it can be transferred elsewhere. Just think low speed version of banks transferring
Yeah.
funds.
Again, though, she's gonna be turning to someone she trusts or that the twins trust.
Right.
So
Well, I
with-
figured that'd be an interpersonal. I'm just saying for the sake of those that are curious and want to purposely set it anywhere else or move it in the future. It would just take time for them to move the funds to a different location.
Well, as I said, Oscar's going to take his portion of the funds and give it to Ash.
We'll
Once we
leave the,
work out what those numbers
right, I figure we'll store
Yeah,
that stuff
we'll
till the
have
end
to
of
figure
this
that
cycle,
out
figure
later.
the ROM
Especially if
later,
somebody
too.
wants some select pieces of the gems and shit.
Right. I know Pearl and Jet don't fit. I can't remember what
Tourmaline
looks
is kind of like a yellow-green, I think.
She really is more interested in like the
like.
emerald
It
and
is something
jade
that
sort of
exists in real life,
stuff.
so I'll let Robert chug through that.
Tourmaline.
So if there aren't like emeralds or jades, she's not really interested.
That simplifies the math.
You might want to think again about that, Sarah.
Tourmaline? Is
Look,
it a green?
It's sort of a greenish purple almost. Let me hold on. I'm pulling up a thing that has it like inlaid in a ring, just to give you an idea.
It's cool. Like it's something I'd like,
Ooh,
but
that's
it's
pretty.
not
I've
a
actually seen Tourmaline.
it's not a
Holy shit,
it's
that
not
is
an
actually a
Ellis's
really
thing
interesting
though.
blend.
Okay,
Yeah.
Like she's very much solid greens.
so it'd
In this
be.
case, no. So it'd be,
And that's just the standard rock by itself.
that's actually kind of cool, almost like a fused glass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something I think is cool, but Ellis's is very on point with keeping her green
Particular taste.
theme going. Greens and silvers are her things.
Boron,
I'm certain you
silicate
would probably
mineral.
want the bolts.
Actually, she lets Oscar take them.
Ooh,
Be,
excuse me.
because she's very particular about bolts she can reuse.
Right. which
And
is gonna be
because these
important
have
for-
wooden shafts.
Mm-hmm.
So in your case, Reed, if you are taking them, there is an important thing to note about plus versions of ammunition.
Uh-huh.
So they have both the plus to the attack and the damage.
+3 to attack
And to
And
damage.
However, once they strike something, they lose the magical property.
Yep. So even if you do recover the bolt,
It's
Does
only-
anybody
It's just
want
a
to do the
roll.
math
Yep.
for all the money?
Nah, not really.
Again, we can save
maybe
it toward
between
the end.
sessions.
And because it is about 20 past 10, I am going to try to get us through the ceremony stuff a little on the quick
Ellis
side
wants the drift.
to purposely get us up to about where Princess is. And I figure that's going to be a good breaking point.
Okay.
And then
Anybody?
Anybody that wants to.
That's
Well,
also
Cinder's
part of the reason I wanted to see if I
definitely
can get this
taking
done quickly.
Anybody
I'm
wants to
probably gonna head up to
So-
bed after.
Hey, do you
'cause
want
it's
the
been a long
potion
week.
of
week.
fire
But
breath?
That's also why I'm trying to make sure we can speed along as much as we dare get away with.
Cinder will take that.
So, to that
And the
end,
staff. If you,
that's-
unless you want the staff of Python.
I don't even know what it does.
don't worry, I'll get the actual
So-
descriptions.
It drives,
I am Moses!
it drives the
No.
snakes
That's
That's
out,
basically what you
That's
do with
not
it.
fire-based.
Again,
drives the snakes out of Ireland.
we'll
It's
get to the more
confusing.
specific stuff.
I'll hail the snake god.
We'll actually get to the more specifics on the
This
dipping
is the
part.
wrong campaign for us
Yeah.
to have that staff.
Yep.
So,
Or was that staff back in Pathfinder?
Cinder will take it.
So, unless anything else is going on or anyone else is doing anything specific, I figured the next, about 10-ish days are going to fly more or less by. Considering this was still
Yeah,
fairly early on.
basically, she spends the time discussing with Ash and Cinder, who know the city and its resources better than she does, how the heck we're gonna make an entire stand float and fly. How do we do that? How do we detach it from the ground and make it float down a city street?
Well, keep in mind, it's going to be mostly wood scaffolding, so it's not like it's going to be anchored
We just-
into the street.
Saw through it.
Wheels.
Hide some wheels. Hitch up some horses. Good to go.
How are we gonna hitch horses to this
Without
thing
anybody
unnoticed?
noticing.
That would be noticed.
Illusion spells.
I don't think it would be
Not any of
nice.
our-
You're
not
in
any
a
of our
city of
forte.
skilled hands.
Yeah, but that would bring other people into it.
Yeah,
People aren't
this is meant to
supposed
be a
know what we're
surprise.
doing.
Hide the horses under the stage and they can push it from underneath and not be seen.
Wouldn't that be more bulls than horses?
Okay.
Ox.
Oxen.
What about propelling it via fire? Like rocket,
Elsa's can get behind this.
Rocket propulsion using burning hands.
It's a cantrip, so you could.
Well,
Burning
burning
hands
hands
is
No,
not a
it's not a
cantrip.
cantrip.
But they could burn all their spell slots to do
I
it.
mean,
You also
We
still
are
have
performers.
inspiration, as I
burning
recall, too.
legitimately all of the spell slots to do it. I could cast it. That's a level 1 spell. 1, 4, 7, 11,
Plus your staff.
12. Plus, if I burn sorcery points to recreate spell slots, 12, 13, I could cast it 14 times in one day.
And assuming it's already floating and you've already started propelling it, you'd really only need it to stop or change direction.
Like, I would think that would be potentially.
Ash could always
a
wander
viable-
through the town and see if Ellen has something.
True.
That is for Ash to decide.
I mean, I feel like something like that would be more something she'd give to a child like Tor.
Scorching ray.
Tor, go out there and
How
find
did I?
something.
Tor, go
How
wander
was I
aimlessly
burning
through the
that?
streets.
You wouldn't let him go alone. It should be with him.
Yeah, but he'd sneak off. If he knew it came to people who were genuinely wandering, he'd sneak off and you know it.
Did my brain heads
But he
go?
would be spending time with his mother, who he hasn't seen in a while.
Fair
I know.
enough.
Yeah.
Instantaneous.
And he would probably pick up on the fact that she doesn't quite like wandering the city and want to be sticking close.
Yeah.
Shut up. Ugh.
So anyway, again, barring anyone doing anything particular, they have to check to see what you get. Again, the next 10 days or so are going to bleed on by.
Okay.
Okay.
We figure out something for the parade float idea.
So yeah, basically, if you can get it to levitate, I can't wait to see what people's reactions are to a flame-propelled sail.
Oh, levitate, you say? What level spell is that?
Third, I think.
Oh, what can it do exactly?
Levitate things.
It's
I think technically it's only meant for like a player or a certain group.
Levitate,
So it's the
but
same
but
Yeah,
if she
thing.
can levitate, if Astrid
Well,
can
when I s-
cast levitate,
Let me put this on record. When I searched levitate 5e, one of the first like autocorrect completions was overpowered.
okay, because the other option was probably Tensor's floating disc.
One creature or object of your choice that you can see within range rises vertically up to 20 feet and remains suspended there for the duration of the spell,
What's the duration?
up to 10 minutes.
And then we propel it with burning hands.
The
Well,
spell
Ellis
can-
is launching
The
fireworks.
spell can levitate a target that weighs up to 500 pounds. An unwilling creature that succeeds on a con saving throw is unaffected. The target can move only by pushing or pulling against a fixed object or surface within reach, such as a wall or ceiling, which allows it to move as if it were climbing,
Or if say propel.
or if propelled
Because you
by...
are
or
pushing
pulled.
off.
Right. You can change the target's altitude by up to 20 feet in either direction on your turn. If you are the target, you can move up or down as part of your move. Otherwise, you can use your action to move the target, which must remain within the spell's range.
and
of
Astrid
you,
can cast
and
it
that
multiple
range
times to keep us
is-
moving.
She's a level 10.
That range
At
is
this
60
point.
feet, so as long as you're within 60 feet of it, you can keep controlling it. When the spell ends, the target floats gently to the ground if it is still aloft. Does not just come crashing down onto whatever happens to be
All
there.
right, so Ash knows exactly who to talk to. Lady Stellara and Lady Astrid.
Considering I have a feeling they would enjoy causing a little bit of havoc for a good cause.
Mm-hmm. Especially Astrid. She sees the twins as sisters.
Well, by this point, the podium is basically being built, or the stand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically set up to be like a sweeping staircase so that they can have people file up, like a large number of nobles with sheafs of, well, parchment.
Nope. Not
And
ever.
So
There's a-
we take
there's
out
a
the middle
final-
platform.
There's a final platform at the top for someone to introduce and showcase.
Cool.
So I would say
We go for the middle platform.
probably
Yep.
large enough to hold 8 people.
Cool.
Well, there's only
5 of us.
5 of us
Right.
plus the kid if the kid's there.
I figured Neverember is going to be there, and you're probably going to want your spellcaster there.
Yeah, but Neverember is probably going to be an unwilling target subject.
Yeah, but it's not lifting him, it's lifting the thing.
Yeah, it's
He
looking
will-
at
That's
That
true.
doesn't matter. The,
But
the
you're
stage
expecting
cannot
it.
be
He
unwilling.
will not be, so he's going to have to.
He's going to have to make a dex
reflex,
save,
in
yeah.
essence.
And technically speaking, doesn't Astrid technically have wings? She could fly alongside it.
Vestigial.
There's
Oh,
a
that's-
decision,
that's true.
but
But again, anybody who's aware of what's going to happen,
how does
No.
polymorph work again?
as I
It's a concentration spell.
yeah, and if I remember,
I think
can
levitate is as
cause
well.
you to shift
Yeah.
into anything within a certain level range, if I remember right.
I was thinking maybe Stellara would be able to do something to fix that situation.
But with concentration, I figure this will give you a way of having them on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
So Oh my god.
Well, the best part of all of this is that since it's already levitating, there's no friction acting on it. So as soon as we propel it, it'll just keep going until we change its direction.
Hence why I said.
Or it stops levitating.
Or it stops
Or it
levitating.
stops levitating 10 minutes later.
Right.
Basically, we probably have enough casts to let this thing go for as long as we want.
We can just have fun
And
with a parade,
considering
yes.
where this is, there's good long main streets
Mm-hmm.
to just go down or just
Yep.
touch the wall, push off a little.
Yep.
Yeah, because we don't necessarily even need fire if we can catch a wall and just go boing.
I'd say it's narrow enough that it drifts close enough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We'll
Just
probably
take a
need the
stick and just
yeah, probably,
gondola it.
I mean,
Probably
we have a
down
lot
the
of stabs.
streets.
need the-
Yeah.
Well,
The
then
quarter
also you're
staff will
dealing
just
with-
gondola the
we use
float.
the fire to get it going as part of the show, and then we're just like push.
And a gondola.
Push.
Gondola. Adam's like, I hate you all.
So the day arrives.
'Kay.
Again, barring anyone doing anything. Speak now or forever hold your peace, Robert.
I'd like to eat breakfast.
Yes, you get a chance to eat.
Hooray!
breakfast, goddammit.
Victory's
I
mine.
agree with you.
Tor hands you an apple.
I was about to say Elvis actually hands an apple to
Tor goes,
just,
yay!
Just baked, not exploded, please.
Well, that's slightly more difficult, but we'll see what we can do.
Stab it.
Adam?
50-50.
She stabs it with a
Above
fork.
50.
If she stabs at it, I think we're good, but it's also a 13.
13, yeah, it
so
doesn't explode.
It wouldn't explode anyways.
So, yeah, just a lot of steam, otherwise, baked apple. Alrighty, where was I? Right, so, after breakfast, after I would assume being advised to make sure you're presentable.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Make sure you take off that apple.
Mhm,
We only have
I
so
know.
many of them.
At least until you get
Oscar
back.
polishes his axe.
How you doing on that
Ellis
axe polish?
I mean, you basically didn't tell him he had a limit on it.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
True.
As far as we were informed, it was effectively infinite axe polish. So
Yeah.
I know what his next magic item needs to be.
infinite
We'll
axe
cover this
polish.
at the end.
Right.
Write it down, we'll hit it at the end. Because I have a feeling we'll get a good chuckle out of this.
Well,
So-
considering it could also give us infinite mayonnaise.
Oh no, not that jar.
Oh, yay! That jar.
I
Jar
want
of
to say it's
infinite.
the alchemy jug. If I
Yeah, the
remember
alchemy
right.
jug.
Hooray
Dear
for infinite
God.
mayonnaise
So,
or infinite hot apple mash.
No, there is actually a set limit of.
there
on
actually
things
is
that
also
there
a
can
set
be.
production limit and a set number of items. So,
Although it's a set production limit per day.
yes, until the next day when it can actually reset and go
Mhm.
on. So, I'm assuming ultimately Ash has carriages to take, blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. So, they take you pretty much to...
Ellis's
Chooses to take
no,
the
no.
carriage.
Well,
She rides
yes,
on top of
but
She just rides on top of it.
but she
Get along, little carriage.
she morphs her armor into a dress for the moment. As soon as that thing takes off, she's morphing her armor into a performance ensemble.
All right. Fair
Oh,
enough.
Just as a statement here.
Oh boy.
I got it. It's still up.
Good.
So- You get to basically one of the larger areas where you can see, as you would expect, guards keeping people back at least 20 yards, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And the platform raises about 30 feet in there, and you can see a long line of nobles up both sets of stairs, shuffling.
Is Caspian there?
It
Sorry,
is
cool,
there's
you
an
guys.
ad. I have to. I have
It's
to
really
play
cool,
out.
you guys.
So, yes, he is there.
God damn it.
Looking a little pale, only holding a very small sheaf of paper, as you can see. You can't quite tell if it's 2 or 3.
Okay.
Very thin,
Okay.
considering the other ones have what almost look like novels at range. And they're lined up both sides of the stairs.
Oh, good lord.
At the top, you do see Neverember up at the top, waiting for your arrival.
Okay.
Ellis is on the roof of a nearby building.
Batmaning it up, are we?
Oh yeah, you haven't heard this bit.
She wants to zip line onto the
Yeah,
platform.
she's basically attached her. She's commanded her rope to go across the roofs, and she's going to zip line onto the stage when
That would
people
have to
start
be-
asking about where she is.
That would have to be an awfully close roof, considering it's only 50 feet of
Yeah, it's
rope.
60 feet. True. Fine. She'll fire a bolt with the rope, with cord attached to it to a nearby building.
Oh my.
It'd
All
have to
right.
be an awfully long rope.
All right,
Again, she's in a
Batwoman.
city. She can buy it.
It's true.
She's not wrong.
And there
True.
was enough time. I'm going to say, for the sake of actually having enough rope,
Mhm.
double the cost of a standard 50-foot line.
That's not expensive. That's
Not
very
for
not
him, no.
expensive.
Right, but whether you entrust it to silk or not, because there is still the
No.
difference between hempen and silk. Anyway, so for later, double the cost of standard rope to do that. So, knowing that she's going to try ziplining into things without telling anybody, it sounds like,
Oh no, Ash and Cinder would know.
Yeah.
do the rest of you proceed out of the carriage up to the stage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sure.
I'm curious if anybody else is going to cause a scene. I'd like to know.
No.
And
Oscar's not.
she deliberately waits until someone notes her absence.
Considering the range and... For fuck's sake.
Do I have any idea that you're up to something, not necessarily
Yes.
knowing what it is? Just, like, in the most, like, fake voice, like, hey, where's Alice's?
Immediately, she fires a bolt. That is a 19 into a wall.
Good enough.
And zip lines down. Do you want an acrobatics check?
I saw that little.
Yeah, give me an acrobatics.
That is a natural 20. Thank you,
As I
Allison.
see her come in, I time, like, you know, some fancy little, like, fire plumes just as she lands.
And Cinder does some dancing lights.
Yeah.
Oscar applauds.
Nat 20 zip line check.
Nice entrance.
Thanks.
We helped.
So, the guards, for whatever godforsaken
And she's down to
reason,
98 bolts.
Oh, that's why you're rolling.
not surprised for whatever strange reason seeing somebody they didn't expect ziplining off a roof.
They expected her. They just didn't expect her to zip line in.
Exactly.
But
And never
apparently they
looks
did
at it.
because the guards is not surprised.
And she sort of, as she lands, flips her hair back.
Never
With a
just looks at you and
flourish.
goes, glad you could join us.
Well,
You didn't give us a choice.
she says with a glare, my presence was mandatory.
Try
I
to
was
explain that.
I
Lord
was
Neverember,
required to be here.
Yeah,
before
what's that about?
the show begins.
Alice smiles at the mention of a show. And she sort of just quietly under her breath, already started, sweetie.
The citizens of this city may like me, but I still have nobles to contend with. I'm sure you saw how many of them have, I shudder to call them speeches, lined up.
Yeah, I saw. I'm not very pleased.
You can see probably the most pained expression on his face of not wanting to listen to what promises to be hours upon hours upon hours of pontification.
Though I'm interested in one person's speech. So, let's get on with this.
Can we have that person go first?
Yeah, can they go first?
Yeah, and then we don't.
I
have to
mean, we
worry
are
about
heroes.
that.
We can make
It's Lord
requests.
Caspian, correct?
Fuck you guys, I have not planned that shit out. I hate you all!
He's the oldest house in Neverwinter that's
But,
still,
aside from the Elstrom.
aside from the Elstrom family.
Here I was hoping you'd take the chance to say fuck all this shit and get the
Nope.
platform.
She's
No.
curious to
No,
see
no.
what he wrote.
No.
He's trying, you know,
You forgot.
he did
the
some
plan.
terrible things. She wants to watch him squirm.
Because I don't expect half the shit you guys come up with.
Yep.
Let's see how I do
Oh,
this.
good.
Yeah. How could you
For
expect?
what it's worth, the moment I said Caspian was there, I should have immediately went, shit!
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
the
you should have
problem-
said no.
The problem was,
and just let
if
me
you
shoot him in the
didn't,
dick.
he was going to be shot in the penis.
Right.
I
all
would
of a
have
sudden.
used an epic point to ensure it, for the record.
I'm not surprised by that.
I would have used an epic
I
point
would've-
to
I
ensure
would've given-
castration.
I would've
Maybe
given-
borrow +3.
I would have
bolt.
given you one of those +3 bolts. Here, use this.
Yeah, I would have used an epic point to ensure I made a eunuch of him. So.
Caspian's dick has been replaced by an arrow.
And then I would have given it to Ash low-key as a trophy. Here you go. Have the real family jewels of the Leeuwenhart family.
We dulled it so you can use it as a dildo if you want.
No, she would not.
Jesus. Oh dear God.
Anyway, he's there, so apparently he's gonna have to make a speech
Yep.
now. It's
Yep.
fine.
And to at least one of us.
But he hasn't really prepared anything, Adam. It's going to be extemporaneous, so...
I mean, he has only 3 pieces of
He's
paper.
got
Yeah.
literally she's
So Ash is just gonna sit there and be like, "Come on, what you gotta say?"
talk, bitch.
So at this, after Neverember returns to
Oh my god! Wait,
Can't
one
wait to hear
second.
this.
1 second. Technically speaking, if we levitate the stand while he's on it, we can push him off and make him fall 20 feet.
Ooh, Caspian?
Yes.
Yes!
We'll just wait until he's up there and then off our stage, bitch.
And Ellis would totally take the blame for that. My spotlight, Spike grow to push him off.
Okay.
So Neverember's
uh,
talking to a
right.
bunch of people.
What
we're
have,
saying.
you, what have you got to say?
Hold on, it's Neverember at the moment. It's not Prince Caspian yet.
Right.
So after he gets the attention of the crowd, with the help of obviously some of the guards to actually get them to pay the help attention,
Mm-hmm.
ladies, gentlemen, merchants, and nobles alike, today we have for you the individuals that have saved, well, everyone in this city from the machinations of one of our own that we did not see coming.
Did we kill machinations?
Yes, we did, technically.
Oh, okay.
I suppose you could think of those construct thingies as machinations.
Yes.
You were saying, Ellis says in a moment of rare
Wow,
diplomacy.
what the hell?
Wow.
When Ellis is the voice of reason.
Behind me stand
This party is so off the rails.
the individuals that saved our fair city. I present you, and at this he steps to the side to allow all of you to come to the forefront.
Mm-hmm. We'll stick Ellis's in the middle.
So I'm going to assume then, going with like 2 on the left, 2 on the right, so the sisters on one side, you 2 on the other side, Ellis is in the middle.
Mhm.
I almost feel like Ellis would be flanked by the twins, except
Yeah,
they'd be standing
I was
together.
thinking flanking her.
Okay, so then left to right, it would be Oscar,
Left to right from our perspective or from the crowd's perspective?
crowd's perspective.
Okay.
So Neverember.
Just because it's
so-
important.
Yeah, so from crowd's perspective, Neverember would be stepping to their left.
Okay.
So in his case, it'd be
So he would
his
be
right.
basically next to the first person you were about to
Right, which
list.
will be
Yeah.
Oscar going from left to right.
Yeah.
So Oscar,
Cinder.
thank you.
Ellis.
Alice,
Ashling.
and Ka.
Oh, you remembered his name this time. Well done.
No, it was Oscar whose name he forgot.
Yes,
No.
Robert, I had
No,
forgotten.
then when I walked into the shop, the
Yeah.
lady was like, "Hi, Gah." Pause where he didn't know what the name was. Great. There's no drink there. Sorry.
I'm looking
All
for
the
this.
alcohol's in the other room. Those do not have alcohol in them. I
I'm
don't
starting
think.
to think I should have a drink for this whole fucking thing.
You should probably prepare by having a drink ready.
Coffee present. Oh, it's an oral anesthetic. That's nice.
Yeah, why do you think I'm taking one of these now?
Oh, it's got menthol in it. That's
Yeah.
almost like alcohol.
It's got all in it.
Yeah.
It's a fall.
Okay.
So at this, the crowd actually starts clapping, cheering, glad to see, such upstanding people. Yes, I say that with sarcasm.
Upstanding.
Let's vote.
Continue.
Well, I mean, when you shoot everything else to their knees, you do stand taller than things.
Oh, that's true.
Now, after he lets this goes on for several minutes, let them get out of their system and starts dying down, he gives the signal to quiet things down. Now, as part of the day's events, before we get to the feast at the end, celebrating them all, there will be food and drink for everyone. All of the nobles want to say their thanks and extol their virtues, starting with Lord Caspian. At this, Caspian, still looking a bit pale, especially as he passes by the sisters, steps to the front. Now then, for my knowledge, what are you guys doing right
Oh,
now?
he's gonna give his speech
he's gotta give his
first.
speech.
You're not getting out of it that easy.
I'm asking first, because I know I'm not getting out of it.
Ellis is plastering on using, and I'll roll performance for it to see how she manages. Her friendliest and most charismatic smile, like, yes, by all means, tell us what you have to say.
Now he's going to be looking the other way, so this is more to see how many people are around
So
you by this.
basically, as soon as he finishes, we'll probably
We're gonna levitate
Yes.
the thing.
levitate the thing and
And,
push him
push him
off.
off.
no, spike growth so he steps off himself. so none of us can be held accountable.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
errant
good idea.
magic.
Well, the floor will look totally normal.
That's true. That is how that spell reads.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll look like he just
It'll
jumps
look like
off
he just
himself.
jumps off the platform.
when it's 20 feet in the air.
Like, it levitated, he's like, oh, I'm scared of heights! And jumps off.
Humiliate him.
and no one will believe it in town when he lies. I'm a local hero. He's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a crazy noble.
He's just a mad person.
Roll perception for me real quick.
Perception,
everyone.
not
Perception?
performance.
No, in
Perception.
this case, perception.
Okay, then I
did
get
not
advantage.
misspeak.
You're sure you don't want performance?
29 for
32.
Ash.
Perception.
Oops, this is Tor sheet.
Perception.
Tor will be seeing this as well then.
13.
That's a 23 for Cinder.
21 for Oscar.
Unless you crit failed, you're going to see
No,
this.
okay, he didn't crit fail.
So what you can see on what pitiful amount of paper he has is basically, what do I say? Because again, he has been asked to give a speech on
Yes.
this group.
Okay, now my performance check for smiling.
Yes.
That is a 22.
Feel free to roll either perception or whatnot for you guys to see how well you actually buy
25.
How much we buy what? What do
her
we buy?
smile.
Oh,
to see.
please, we
Oh,
know
we-
it's
we
Yeah,
Her
know,
smile?
yeah.
We don't
They,
care.
they know it's her performance
Yeah,
smile.
Yeah, we
Are you
don't.
kidding me? We don't trust it for a second.
So,
Oh, they
Cassian-
have no way of knowing she's gonna force him off that stand.
Mm-hmm.
So Caspian gets up to the main point, and remember, of course, again, from perspective, steps to the left, and you can already see he's not looking forward to how long this is going to take.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Is he stalling perchance?
never remember?
No.
Oh,
Caspian.
Caspian.
Basically, you can see he gets up there, clears his throat.
Could you hurry it up? We have a feast to get to.
Speak, man.
What can I say about this group?
I just realized something terrifying, and we'll get to it in a minute.
Good.
Mhm.
What can I say about this group? As Lord Neverember has stated, this group, during a gala at Lady Theneldra's estate, managed to save us from, well, her. We never expected her to turn on us. Though I suppose she did lose herself the moment she was ousted as causing so much heartache to the twins themselves.
Ash is rolling
Insight.
insight. She crit failed.
No, god damn it, Ash.
Alice's has a 25.
Sin.
Cinder.
Alice's has a 25.
Also,
7! No, she got a 7.
God damn it.
25.
Okay.
For having been suspicious of this guy for a really long time, you're both really shit at being suspicious of him.
+4 in the insight. Why? Okay.
Now, I won't bore all of you with the details, but suffice to say, had it not been for the Elstroms and their companions, none of us would be standing here today.
Question.
Me as
Alice
the
says
DM, or-
no. Alice says under her breath, "How many of us can you actually name? You son of a bitch."
Ashley's laughing. Barely contained.
You specifically roll me perception for a minute.
Doesn't even know the
Let's
local
see.
heroes.
That is a 25.
You can tell he's gritting his teeth to finish his speech and get the hell off
To
the
finish
stage.
his speech. Oh, he'll be getting off the stage.
Oh, there's no question about that.
Fly.
So, where was I? Right.
Fly, you fool.
So, through a restrained smile of sorts, and it's very obvious to all,
Mm-hmm.
that he's wanting off the stage.
Ash is loving every minute of this.
This is
Everyone,
fun. We should do this more.
please pay your respects to these fine heroes.
You call that a speech?
You hear.
He did call us attractive.
So
he did.
So Elysis sort of nudges Ash to give the sign for the stage to move, and says, "Trust me, I've got this."
Okay, and Ash signals for Astrid to start the levitation.
So the stage moves 20 feet up in the air. Elysis casts Spike Growth. He immediately takes 2d4 points of damage, and when he moves to get off the stage, takes another 2d4.
What's going to be even more fun about
Is
this?
then he's then gonna drop 20 feet and have to take fall damage.
Hold on.
I don't even know if they covered
If it's obvious
Just
enough to us when we
average
see you
noble.
do it that you're casting it, as soon as the
Well,
stage
I
goes up,
actually need the other
I'm
set.
going to go for the
Monster
propulsion.
manual, please.
So not only is he going
I
to
think
fall
the
off
DM
the
guide
stage,
has a stat block for just regular nobles.
Sarah, not only is he going to fall
Well,
off
I'm
the
looking to see if I
stage,
can find
he's
fall
going to
damage
be
first.
hit by the platform too. He takes the damage. He takes
No,
the
you'd
damage
fall
again.
off to the side of it. You
seeing
wouldn't
it,
get hit
Adam.
by the
Yeah,
No,
from where he is,
right.
he'd have to go off the front.
You said monster manual?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought fall damage would be an.
What the hell?
I'm
they're
looking for
just-
the noble stat block, which will be at the back of that.
They're just messing with each other.
Where the hell is fall damage?
Gracie was in here.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so what the hell was that? Because Gracie was in here.
Squirrel in the living room?
So,
Might be upstairs, actually.
so as a point of interest, I am going to use my
higher
epic
value?
point. No, I'm going to use my epic point intentionally to deal minimal damage
Okay.
on this spell.
Just more to get him to jump off.
So he doesn't die.
Oh no! So he dies when he hits the ground. So he
What's the hell value
so
on a
she
stat
doesn't kill
noble?
him. 9. And he's going to be taking at least 4 points of damage from even with minimal damage.
Real quick, just because I know I'm in hour time, can you see if fall damage even is covered?
It just looked like he suicided.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Keep in mind, taking damage, takes damage again, walking off, stage is now propelling forward.
But
And
you
he's
did
gonna
say-
get
The
hit by
stage
it.
hits him
You
too.
realize you guys did say it elevated 20 feet in the air, so
Yes.
it's
Yes.
dropping it?
And it was 1d6 points of damage per 10 feet in Pathfinder, is what I can
That's why I
say.
want to see if it's still.
I know there is, but let me just Google it. It'll be
Yeah, because it'll be
faster.
faster. Because I actually
I
want
know there's rules for it.
I know
Because
there's gotta be, but I
here's
don't
the
know where
thing.
it is in here.
He's taking minimum 4 points of damage.
Right, so he's down to 5.
hmm Or can she, because it is an epic point, I'm burning to do this. Can she do it to take him down to very,
So,
very
like,
low?
one,
Exactly
basically.
to
Yeah.
1, basically.
Mhm.
I'm going
By
to
the
say
time his
because you
movement's
are
done.
purposely controlling it, yes, but I do actually want to see what the values are for fall damage.
Yeah, so I'm
Okay.
watching to see how hurt he is.
From the Player's Handbook, page 183.
It's in the player's handbook?
Apparently.
Oh.
Player's Handbook, page 183. A fall from a great height is one of the most common hazards facing an adventurer. At the end of a fall, a creature takes a d6 of bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet it fell.
So same thing in
to a
Pathfinder.
maximum of 20 d6. It lands prone unless it avoids taking damage from the fall.
Which, in this case, there's not a chance in hell. The fall alone would kill him.
Okay,
Hey!
so I am going with 1 point of
Hey!
damage, so he's clearly fine when he jumps off the platform.
Basically, you just hit him with a red hot brand to make him
And,
jump.
and immediately after he jumps off the platform, she dismisses the spikes so that no one else will notice they were ever there.
Oh.
And
Fixing all the
and
problems.
she looks at Ash and she just under her breath, "You're welcome."
Fixing all
So-
the problems
you.
in Neverwinter.
So, from the ground perspective, Caspian finishes this.
The platform rises
Rises,
up and
and he
starts
just goes,
propelling forward, and he
drops to
jumps
the
off
ground.
and kills himself.
Never ever just looking over like,
Meanwhile, we are sailing
We're sailing down the
away
We're sailing off.
And Elysis
Fuck this
begins
party.
Elysis begins
through
using
the
her
streets
fireworks.
of crowded peasants.
please find me Come Sail Away. I believe it was
Come
Journey.
sail away.
Or was,
come
no,
sail
was
away.
it Styx?
It's much easier to just search it by name.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not Kongi Daryl. What the fuck, Swipe? Kongi Daryl, everyone.
So if that's
It's
not your
Styx,
bonus
thank you.
experience,
Hot damn.
so
Hold on, I gotta get past this ad. fine.
I figure this will be appropriate considering we just off we sail.
So
Screw the rest of these
at this
speeches.
point, she
Leaving a
starts.
crumpled corpse behind.
So, while that's going, so apparently, I'm glad I remembered that right.
Elysis starts using Conjure Barrage in conjunction with her fireworks to create these grand fireworks.
And we go on a parade.
and she makes one go off right over where Caspian's corpse is.
I don't fucking believe
Can I get my
this.
epic point back?
We're gonna make these goddamn, like, peasants love us.
Guess
God
what?
fucking
Not one of
damn
them
it.
are confused at all by this. They just accept it as, okay, he committed suicide, this platform's flying.
This
It was
is
a
just
fireworks
what
show.
heroes do, motherfuckers!
Apparently the heavens have spoken and he's gone ahead and killed himself. From the nobles' end of it, because they just watched the platform fly away, the chiefs are just kind of floating off, and they're just like, what the fuck?
But I
To be
had a
honest, just
speech
going
ready.
Yay!
What about my speech?
Yeah, Elysis is launching off fireworks into the sky like it's nothing.
And
we-
Neverember just looks like, I don't know how to feel about this. Obviously he's not stopping it.
Elysis just looks at him and says, honestly, did you want to listen to all those speeches?
I'd advise you to enjoy it.
Enjoy it while you can.
I just
Don't worry,
finished,
Emby,
like,
we'll be
asking-
back in time for dinner.
I just
No,
finished-
he's on the platform.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm
I
telling
just
him we'll
finished,
be
like,
back in time for
asking,
dinner.
Suicide.
Yeah, really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's
I'm not broken up over it.
he was
I mean, I
clear,
didn't
he was
even know
clearly
the guy,
troubled.
really.
He was clearly troubled.
Yeah, I mean, to congratulate
He-
people and then kill
he did.
himself like that.
Commit a crime some years ago, so
Well, considering I know this would have made the rounds, he's not particularly broken up over it either. Just kind of finding it weird that everything's levitating, you guys are all fine with it,
And Caspian just jumped to his death,
and for
seemingly.
no
was not
visible
For no,
reason.
for no visible reason.
Maybe he was disappointed with his speech.
He was.
It was a rather lackluster speech.
It was. I
He
agree.
also was lying through his teeth to a degree, and
Well, of course he was.
the guilt eats away at everyone. So, as you were floating down the streets with fireworks and flame going off,
And
is
sticks
anybody?
going.
I'm performing too.
We'll assume you're actually playing
Maybe
this
turn that
song.
down. Performances 16 for Ash, 11 for Cinder.
15 for Elysis.
26.
From a group perspective, it's a hell of a spectacle.
Music and fire and fireworks and a magical flying platform.
And Elysis jumping through hoops and tossing her hoops up in the air to leap through them, and
For anybody that decides to look behind them, since I'm assuming you're now made sure you're hovering high enough not to clip any of the citizens,
20 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Unless a citizen is 20 feet tall, they're pretty safe.
you're even clearing any vendor stalls that might have been set up alongside. You can see what.
Wait,
looks
hold
like-
on. Is there like one specific stall that's just slightly too high but selling cabbages?
You know what? For that, because I think I know thanks to the internet where this is going. Motherfucker, there is.
My cabbages! Sorry, put it on MB's tab.
Sarah.
Lord Neverember is just kind of standing to the side, just starting to chuckle.
I think they would have worked on that.
Whether it be in
For 15
madness or
days.
finding this hilarious,
they'd have
no one can
been
tell.
working on it, but it would still be a process. And at the very least, it wouldn't kick in till his next birthday.
Okay.
Well, with
No.
how things work in Waterdeep.
So, if you look behind you,
Neverwinter.
Fair enough.
This
All I
is a
can say
completely
is it looks
different
like
city. She's a
motherfucking
Neverwinter
Mardi Gras
noble.
behind you.
Granted.
And considering what
cheering,
we've done,
there's
I would probably
drinking
say
in
they sped up the
streets.
process.
Even
Probably.
the guards are looking a little bit on the merrier side of things. Nobody's paying attention to the nobles up on the platform. So, yes, you're literally leading a goddamn conga line out of New Orleans through the streets.
All right.
Common folk are loving us.
I mean, considering at this point Neverember is just saying, if you want to end this at where the banquet's going to be, and you actually use your directions through all this.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's go to the banquet.
Gotta gotta eat eventually, Elysis.
Let's
Well,
go to the
yeah.
banquet.
The levitation goes
Yeah,
for
but I'm
how
gonna
long
have
is
to deal
that?
with more
10
stuffy
minutes.
nobles.
And
The whole point of this was to
Yeah.
have fun.
Roughly how many spell slots would Saris have for levitating?
What?
Spell slots. How many should she
Level
roughly have?
10,
Oh God, plenty, tons.
charisma 20.
Well, spell. Well,
But
charisma
level
doesn't
10
expect spell
wizard.
slots. Listen, if
Then
she's level
she's
10
fine.
wizard, she's gonna have more spell slots than I do, and I have effectively 15 of them.
We're
so-
gonna go with the fact that she can probably keep it afloat for over 2 hours,
And then her mother can help too.
if it came to that. So, pretty much you have the choice of, do you want to keep leading this conga line of merriment all the way through the city, or do you want to take on a couple-hour tour and then get
Oh no, I
shit-faced?
absolutely want every single commoner
We're
in
gonna
this
take
city
it
to
on
see
like
us.
the most leisurely detour we can to get to where we're going.
I figure then you're going to basically spiral out and all the way around and through, and there's just a conga line of people just strung through the entirety of the city.
Now this is what I call a party.
Yeah. When do we get to drink?
Well,
As soon as we let this thing settle
considering that
down.
you've taken a circuitous route through the city, I'm going to assume...
Circuitous.
Is it really circuitous?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Oh. So after you've taken this lovely long path, I'm going to assume it's been about, say, 4 hours to drift through, move through, or gondola your way through things.
Mm-hmm.
There is a very large banquet, as you can see, set up in the largest courtyard they have available, with everything from fire-roasted meats, various confections of all manner of type, and lots of beer and wine.
Okay.
Yay.
So, at this, I'm assuming we're having the platform set down.
Mhm. Like right smack dab in the middle of this square.
So, at some point during the evening, Elysis pulls aside the twins and says, "Did you guys like your gift?"
Very much. Thank you. He was becoming a problem.
Well, the best part is, as far as anyone else knows, he jumped of his own volition.
Yep.
Gotta love that spell.
It's had surprisingly many uses.
Oh, you're not there. She pulled them aside.
Yeah, we were pulled aside.
Regardless, he is accurate. So, to that end, unlike most parties, this goes on for at least a couple of days.
Okay.
With this many nobles, what they prepared, everybody's in a merry mood considering they
This
just
doesn't
watched.
necessarily mean we have to be there the whole
Yeah,
time.
no.
No.
Elysis listens to none of the speeches.
No,
She
they
was-
didn't
We
get
left
to do
the
speeches.
speeches.
We
Oh,
took
no,
away that
This
chance.
is just the dinner.
This is
Literally,
just,
at this
this is
point,
just
this
the
is
party.
day
The
17.
party and the food, and we're literally just partying for days.
Yeah, this is day 17 by the time the party would be over. So basically, it's a case of you could go to sleep, wake up, have a beer, and continue partying for the full day. Which, considering what you've all just been through, I'm assuming that's more or less what your characters are doing.
Is Julie there?
Was it
Damn
me?
well better be.
She's there very briefly, but she doesn't say much. Her voice still isn't super great,
Mm-hmm.
and
I'm
she
probably having a conniption fit.
and she has her own private concerns. She comes to express, her appreciation for all of you guys, comment on the fireworks show, and make a comment about Caspian's
Untimely demise.
unfortunate accident.
Does the other one turn up?
Ty?
Yeah.
No.
Before she leaves, I make sure to tell her to scold her brother for not turning up for our party.
She says, "Rest assured, my brother is plenty aware of what he's missing."
Just scold him for me.
Mhm.
So, as the party obviously is winding down after 48 hours of merriment and insanity,
Mm-hmm.
probably slightly longer considering, you still have about 3 days left in Neverwinter before, as far as I know, the party had planned to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So to that end, besides nursing probably the worst hangovers you've ever had,
No.
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 Elysis only drinks wine and usually no more than one
Ash
glass.
knows to control herself after some
And Oscar's
prior
and
shenanigans.
Oscar's a soldier.
Oscar's
He's
a
been way
dwarf,
drunker.
man.
Yeah, he's
Been way
a
drunker
dwarf.
way many times.
in other words, hey, there's blood in my veins. Why is there no alcohol?
Yeah.
So basically you have 3 days to wrap up anything before, as I recall, you all had agreed to in essence, going away party
Yes.
for Ash.
What?
Well, no,
Phandalin?
Are you
In
kidding?
Phandalin.
We were taking her back.
Just
That's
gotta
what
go
I'm
back to
saying. You have
Phandalin.
3 days left in the city before you'd be heading back to Vandalin.
To
To get
throw
that
her
all
good,
sorted.
to throw her going away party.
Right.
So, was there any last things you wanted to do in the city?
Well, Ashley will have to tie up a few loose ends.
Which would be your own
To
personal
be
thing.
fair, at this point, perhaps we should leave that for the next time.
I figured that'll probably be best because it's now 11, so this is a good breaking point.
Let's wrap it up with the party and not end it on like, what could be
Phandalin.
potentially fairly
Lengthy
routine
stuff
and
for
not to
No.
say this negatively, but boring,
in
you know,
between shit.
like general everyday stuff.
For
Yeah.
what it's worth from my notes, is it safe to say, just so I know that we can pick up basically immediately in Vandalin,
Yeah.
Ash, I'm going to assume, is doing whatever she needs to do for the next 3 days
Mm-hmm.
in the city. You guys, I'm assuming, are either living it up, doing things, or whatnot,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not hoping to find anything, but I'm gonna finish as much of my exploration as I
Yeah.
can.
Oscar's gonna walk around too.
Okay, give me a second just to do one thing for the sake of my sanity. Okay. So your adventures around the cities are going to be normal.
Good. That's I wasn't
All Elysis
expecting
does
anything else.
is go out and talk to the common folk about how they're doing, and how the city's been faring, and
Well,
if-
I'm sure they're not quite normal because we're gonna have like commoners, coming
if-
at us, probably.
and if the commoners have,
Wander and
any
mingle,
thoughts
more or
on
less.
the recent unfortunate tragedy of Caspian's death.
Just to get that also out of the way, nobody gives a flying fuck.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, actually.
They watched Noble jump to his death after magical stuff happened, so either a wizard did it, or he straight up, flat out committed suicide since...
Even whatever
The
family
greatest
he has
house
left
in
doesn't give a
Everwinter is
shit.
now gone.
Oh yeah, did we get another set of stuff?
Well, he did
No.
suicide, so it'd be
Yeah,
more the
he
city's
suicided.
It's the city's problem.
Problem.
But
Unless...
still,
On the good news, we just funneled a whole bunch of money back into the city.
Yes, he
That
did.
is true.
Ultimately.
sort of.
I mean, in a roundabout way, but
He didn't really have too much left of his own family wealth, to be honest.
Yeah, a certain Waterdavian noble has been hardcore cutting them off from any sea trade for years
Well,
now.
the only reason why he would attempted what he did with Ash was to get after her family wealth. So
I'm sure being cut off didn't help either.
the house
Yeah,
was gonna
I'm
die
picking up
eventually.
immediately.
Probably sometime soon anyway.
So now the Elstroms are the oldest family in Neverwinter. Not that it matters, because they say, fuck that place.
And none of you guys are alignment shifting considering Caspian was an evil piece of shit.
Besides,
also
she did-
technically he was responsible for his own death.
yeah. Also, he chose to step off.
Gray, to a degree, that part at least is
He
great.
had a
but
choice.
Considering the prior events,
Mm-hmm.
I would say bare minimum he'd be neutral.
And the thorns
Minimum.
didn't hurt him that much. It was more just surprise and shock.
Yeah.
And he stepped off, as I said, his own voice and said, no, there will be no alignment shifting.
But besides that, she knew he had caused distress to them. She knew he wasn't a good person. She saw through his lies when he was talking, and she's chaotic good. His death was for the greater good,
The betterment of 2 of your party members.
Mhm.
So,
and potentially an entire city because he's
Yeah.
a lying piece of shit.
Yeah, he was working with Nuldra.
That's why I'm saying to that end, there is
So
no
we
line-
killed a potential villain before he could become a villain.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying there's no
Alice's
alignment
for
shifting.
the win.
Because you've eliminated a problem for the greater good. So, to that end, because obviously we've had fun with RP,
Yes.
I'm gonna say we'll go around 3 times like the last time. Since
I'm
a
gonna have
lot
several
of-
honorable mentions if nobody else takes them.
Because a lot of shit has happened.
Yes.
Starting with me as per usual.
Give me a second to make my marks. to
Can
keep
you?
track.
I'm gonna have to go somewhere where I can read this.
Oh, you can turn up the
No,
lights.
no.
No,
I'll
read
go
it.
It's
through
actually
it.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
we're gonna be breaking soon, so it's not a.
yeah,
Well,
this is literally the last
Yeah, and then
bit.
we'll turn it back down for
And I
this.
wrote up
if
my
we have
notes
to.
purposely just so I can immediately start you guys back in Phandalin. Because I've already got the days you guys would have already been traveling to keep track of certain things that'll require knowing what times we're dealing with. So, no, we're literally going to be picking up right at the cusp of getting you into Princes, in essence. So, no worries. Alright.
Gonna have one final going away present for Ash when we get back to Fandolin now.
Alright, so yeah, in keeping with the usual, and by the way, because I didn't answer this earlier, anybody who did use their epic point, because of all these shenanigans, will be getting it back.
Woohoo! I think that only impacts me, but
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, because I had stepped away, I didn't know if anybody else might have
Nope.
considered writing it off, so
I've
starting with you,
used
Sarah.
one yet.
okay.
You haven't had the need to.
So-
Fine.
I'm gonna be starting with Ellis's nat 20'd her zipline check.
So nat 20 Batman. Yeah, okay. Read.
I mentioned that later there would be a new twist on an old rod.
New twist. Same old rod. The usual two.
Anything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
Dildo bravery.
Ellen be generous.
That was
Oscar.
good.
I was going to be lying, too.
Explodey apple mash for the child.
It was the match.
It was the apple mash.
Sarah.
Ellis's was momentarily the voice of reason.
Nonsense. She just wanted to kill a guy faster.
Yeah, that would fit very well with momentary bit of reason. Read.
Corrupting a minor by gambling with him.
He was clearly already corrupt. He was all for the gambling straight from the off.
Usual two.
Caspian suicide.
I was gonna have Ellis's kills Caspian as my third one. Quote unquote kills Caspian.
Cinder managing to convince Ellis's to attend the ceremony by turning it into a performance.
Improving the ceremony.
What a ceremony.
You've got death, entertainment, food.
Fire.
More could you
Maybe
want?
more death, and it probably would have been a red wedding. Robert.
Conky Daryl.
Conky Darrow.
Not come sail away. Conky Daryl. Thanks, Swipe.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with Ellis's long-term goal at this point being to have a very complete collection of floating magical objects.
You better write that down on your
No,
sheet.
it's actually
genuinely
in my
I want her
notes.
to get so many that if she has them all out at once, she can't see because there's just a ring in front of her eyes at all times.
Like rings of Jupiter around her head.
I just want her to have enough where when she throws them all in the air, they're just circling around and hitting each other.
At which point they all self-destruct, and aw, you're out. So many stones.
What the hell?
Read.
Let's see. Oscar started talking like a ghetto dwarf. Ellen be generous.
Ellen be generous.
Ellen be generous.
Cinder still hasn't used the ice dildo. Oh, the coxicle. Excuse me. The coxicle. And let's jeez. Something you said earlier. Some good luck at getting magic items. When you're at the Velvet Room.
Lucky bastard dwarf. Got it.
My cabbages!
Cabbage rage.
I like that my response was, it's okay, put it on MB's tab. Okay. Oh, there's an honorable mention. Never correcting me for referring to him as MB several times in a row.
Ellis is calling out honorable mention. Ellis is calling out Caspian on his bullshit.
Put Adam on the spot with that one.
Which I should have fucking expected it with how you guys are. I should have.
Yep.
You don't know what to expect from us. We don't know what to
Agreed.
expect
You
from
can
us.
I've known
try
you
it.
too long enough to know I should have expected something, and I'm married to that one.
You can try as hard as you want, but we're always gonna be a step ahead of you.
You didn't really
Always.
share much with me, so I couldn't really help you either. For what you could have prepared for.
Mandatory. Other thing. Mandatory attendance.
Which caused you two to cock something on the fly, which was
Yep.
amusing
Oh
as
no,
hell.
I've been debating that entire session how to use a barrage of arrows for something stupid. I really
Cinder
had.
just